Hey everybody, it is April 9th, 2020. I think it's Thursday night. It's about 11:30 p.m. here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let me turn the audio off my video coming up. I hope everybody's just staying safe out there. Out there. Let me go ahead and pause this real quick. We're gonna um we're gonna see how this works tonight because it took me 20 minutes to get into my Zoom and everything keeps freezing up. Okay, I think I got that. Welcome to anybody coming into the chat. We're just gonna kind of see how this works tonight because my attackers are completely freezing up all my programs. So we're gonna see if it can stay going. Hey, what's up, Arachno Nixon? Arachno Nixon says, hey, good evening all. Good evening to you, man. I hope you're staying safe. I hope we're all, just kind of getting prepared. Uh, Assertive hope, no fear. Definitely no fear. God's got us in the palm of His hand. But the crap is hitting the fan. It's been hitting the fan for a while, um, and I suspect it might get worse. I'm hoping not. Like, put out my video of Richie from Boston interviewing James True, and a lot of smart people are saying they don't think anything different is going to happen this Passover. I hope not. I'm praying not, but I'm seeing a lot of signs of an FF, with especially with those ships, the ship in New York and the ship in Los Angeles. It does seem like a ritual with two towers, and then America would be in the center as a sacrifice. But I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that everything just stays incredibly bad like it is. I'm not hoping that everything stays as incredibly bad as this is, but I hope it's just like more numbers of people dying of regular deaths and then them lying about it as I had hoping for that, right? That's weird. I'm not hoping. I wish all this would go away and we get our freedoms back, and people would say, yeah, we know we can't get COVID-19 by the way the mainstream media is saying, and I don't think that's going to happen. Hey, My Timbo says, sending you all light, love, healing, and protection. Thank you, Miss My Timbo. Hey, Anne. Hey, Jennifer. I'm going to start this off. I got this book from my mom during Christmas. It's Joel Osteen, Blessed in the Darkness. And so, as a prayer, I'm going to read the back of the book because I read it a couple of weeks ago, and it really resonated with me for the things that I've gone through as a targeted individual, being experimented on and tortured. The good things have come out of this because of God, not because of this world, but because of what God does with the darkness of the world. So let's say a prayer to begin this. I got a ton of information. I'll tell you guys what happened. I'm really frustrated. I'll tell you guys after this prayer. So, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, when we think about what it means to be blessed, most of the time we think of the good things that have happened. Where are the blessings when we go through times we don't understand? It's easy to get discouraged, give up on our dreams, and think that's the end. But God uses the dark places. There's a part of His divine plan. They're a part of His divine plan. Think of a seed. As long as a seed remains in the light, it cannot germinate and will never become what it was created to be. The seed must be planted in the soil in a dark place so that the potential on the inside will come to life. In the same way, there are seeds of greatness in us, dreams, goals, talents, potential that will only come to life in a dark place. You may not realize it, but it's in the dark places that you really grow. They're where your character is developed, where you learn to trust God and to persevere, and where your spiritual muscles are made strong. It's just a matter of time before you break out and blossom into who you were created to be. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. Let's begin it like that. Hey, strong minded individual. Jennifer says they are labeling most deaths as COVID, even if they aren't. Yeah, And I've got a video I'm going to show about that from Brian at High Impact Vlogs too. But I want to tell you guys, I'm really, really frustrated because that live stream I did on April 7th, it was like a 7-hour live stream. And it was like, I hate to be crude, but this is the only way I can think about it. If you think about when you need to use the bathroom and you finally use the bathroom, you feel really good. Spiritually, that's what that video was to me. I needed to get a lot of stuff out, a lot of stuff that I wanted to add as a targeted individual and just a moral person in this time of crisis, right? And it was just a great live stream. I felt like, wow, that was so good. We got some good information out. We hung out. We talked about spiritual things. I was very, very pleased with it. But they took it down because London Real, like I had less than a minute of material in there that London Real copyright strike me for. So I can still get to the video, no one can see it. And I was just gonna go edit out that like less than a minute piece of video to put the whole thing back up. But apparently in the YouTube editor, the video is too long. Like if it's too long, if it's more than I guess if it's more than 3 hours or 4 hours, you can't edit it. So I could get it back up. I could take my video software, APowerSoft Pro, and I could just play it through, right? And then put the video out again. Maybe I might do that later, but it'd be me sitting there and actually playing the video again. So I'm like, but I'm really disappointed about that. So some of the things I say tonight, it may be like deja vu, but it's not going to be all that. I really want to reiterate that there is a frequency weapons grid in addition to 5G, and there has been for many, many, many years, targeting people like me and people like in my chat with the frequency weapons grid, with neuro weapons, directed energy weapons, using like satellite to radar, like satellites to the brain, radar, phased array antennas on 4G towers. Some of the 5G towers are also used as weapons too. Gwyn towers, drones. I'm forgetting stuff, but you guys can put it in chat. But basically the idea is that there, and it's a fact, there's a frequency weapons grid that is not used by consumers, which a lot of 5G, if we live through this, will be used, by consumers. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I think we're going to be okay. I think most people are going to be okay, and I really pray for that. I am still worried about Passover, but that's a main point that I want to get out there. It's something as a targeted individual, me and you guys, most of you guys who watch my videos, we've been tortured by neuro weapons and directed energy weapons for many, 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 many years, even before 5G towers started being put up. So there's this separate frequency grid, and I want to show you all an article. I want to show you all an article by Science Magazine talking about satellite to radar. So a lot of people are saying like, well, it can't be 5G because you got places like Africa and places where there's not a 5G consumer grid put up, and they're coming down with COVID-19 too, but from a remote place. Radar can have a wideband signal put over an area, and I think we're dealing with a lot of angles here, right? People with the COVID-19 genetic material, those exosomes, it's like we all have that inside of us anyway, but it usually takes a catalyst, toxins in the environment or the electromagnetic fields of the earth changing to release those exosomes, So Anne says, don't care for Joel, but that's just me. Yeah. And I know a lot of people don't like Joel Osteen, but it's it's just a good thing on the back of the book that I saw. And I was like, yeah, that's, we can find light in the darkness. God can take these dark things that our evil top of the pyramid is doing, and good people can become stronger. Good people can do more compassionate things. But yeah, I realize a lot of people don't like Joel Osteen. I like him. I think that he's trying to get people, he's trying to bring everybody to God and then let God kind of put them on the path. And I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea in this kind of sophisticated, complicated world where a lot of people are maybe chased away by dogmatic Christianity. And I talk to Christians about that all the time. You know, I consider myself a very good Christian. But yeah, I do like Joel Osteen. Jennifer said, okay, yeah, read that. Hey, Indy, is Igwe, New York, says 5G being installed all over. Yeah, and they're installing it as this crisis goes on and people are stuck in their homes. They're building more of that infrastructure as this happens. And there's some videos I'm going to show y'all in England where everybody is on self quarantine, but the people putting up the 5G towers are still going out and working and putting it all off. So and there's been some pundits saying, they're like saying, well, 12 months may not be enough. We may need more time so we can get infrastructure in place, right? When they say they want to get more infrastructure in place, I think that means that means the 5G grid, you know, fill in the gaps on the 5G grid and the infrastructure of control. You know, martial law. Bill Gates was saying that even after they get COVID-19 under control, that people still won't be able to have mass gatherings. That's going to stay. Like it's going to stay that people can't have mass gatherings because they're going to use this to be like, hey, people can't have mass gatherings so that nobody can protest. And people, it'll be easier to arrest them and put them in jail if people get together and protest. So a lot of these things that they seem to be going away, seem to be taken away from us. Even this, guys, like social media, getting on YouTube, getting on other social media, we got to use it now to get the ideas in people's heads, the truth in people's heads, because I think censorship, we haven't seen anything yet. We have not seen anything yet. Hey, Wayne says, sup my people. Jennifer says, I heard there's a ton of people in New York calling 911 about heart issues. It was on natural news. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that there's like, from the frequency weapons grid, people are being specifically targeted in a mass way. And then you have the 5G infrastructure that's kind of directionally blanketing people in 60 gigahertz. And some 5G is not millimeter wave, but it's blanketing people. So you have that. And then you have people who are just getting sick, like with pneumonia and stuff like that. And those numbers are being taken as COVID-19. So it's pretty complicated with a lot of different angles. You know, I'm not a person that would just say it's just 5G causing people to get sick or causing them to show up with these symptoms. It's not just fudging the numbers of people dying of other things. It's not just the frequency weapon grids. It's like all those things mixed together and more that I'm missing, right? But I want to add, and to get this crisis that they want, to get people scared, to get people really scared. And it's like, we know, this is my thing with Passover. It's like, we know that these satanic rituals, we've heard that they like to scare their victims to build up this adrenochrome, right? This certain kind of energy, this certain stuff in their blood, and then they kill the victim, right? So what I'm concerned about is this whole buildup of the virus. You know, it's really getting people fearful. And then are they going to have some kind of symbolic sacrifice? They already sacrificed, right? But are they going to have a big symbolic sacrifice too? Because we know all the people at the top really believe in this mystery Babylon stuff, Kabbalah, the Talmud, Masonic stuff like that. They really believe in that kind of stuff. And it's like, how do they do that? How have they always done that? I think we got a good insight from what's his name? Can't remember his name. James True. So, and everybody watched that interview with Richie from Boston and James True. Arachno Nixon says, Ann Carlisle, it's some sort of secret floating surveillance platform, commonly known as black triangles. I think I've heard about that. Let's see. Let me go back up. Infinite. Oh, it's already freezing up. Yeah, we're gonna see how this goes tonight. My attackers could just freeze it up so bad that I won't be able to show anything, but hopefully not. Infinite the Illusionist says, not everywhere. It's being put into public schools and places of businesses now. Yeah, they're putting it into these places where if parents saw it right now, they would start protesting, taking down those 5G poles. Like a lot of people in England, I think, I don't know how many have been taken down as of now, but a lot of them. And then and we heard Bill Gates saying this. He was saying, well, when we do get COVID-19 under control, people would still be able to go to school and business and stuff like that. But then certain things like mass gatherings, those still would not be allowed. So even after they say, oh, we got COVID-19 under control, and then somebody wants to go and have a party or something, all those people could be arrested. Or like we want to go to the beach and have a party. So they're gonna, even though it's like under control, they're still, we all know this, they're gonna keep things in place because this is a huge jump in the New World Order's plan for Agenda 21. And then they've still got plans for Agenda 2030. So they're going to be doing a lot of weird stuff when all of our freedoms are being taken away. So now is a crucial time. I mean, is it too late? I know it's not too late to serve God in the name of Jesus Christ, to help people, to do our best. But I mean, is it too late to get our freedoms back? I hope not. I sure do hope not. Infinite the Illusion says people are scared for their health like they should be. Yeah. It's not like people are just laying down and saying, hey, take our freedoms. They're using a complicated thing and saying, if you go out and you do a mass gathering, you're going to hurt people. And so people wanting to be good, wanting to do the right thing are like, yeah, I got to stay inside. But then they're even pushing back after that. And they're saying, well, the spread of this infection is happening in homes. It's happening in homes. So we've got to come and take specific family members. We got to test people. They may test negative the first time, but then we got to test them again. So I definitely think that the testing is contaminated with the actual like exosomes or whatever the genetic material that they would need as a positive for the COVID-19 test. This is, I mean, we all know it. This is just the worst. This is just the worst. And we really need God right now. We really need our faith. We need a miracle. But I fear that during Passover, we're going to have the opposite of a miracle. We're going to have the satanic sacrifice, with America. And I'm not saying that everybody in America is going to be killed, right? And I'm definitely not trying to frighten anybody, but there's just a lot of signs, Kim Burr says, and hey, Kim Burr says mass gatherings, hey, that's great for us TIs, but not for our awareness groups. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There are some good things. Because people need to protest. Like, we're going to have to take to the streets eventually. Hey, Tanya. Tanya says, hi, everybody. Tanya said, good Friday here, everyone. Yeah, for me, it's still Thursday. It's about to be Friday. Jennifer Burns says they want to do mass testing now. I will not take a test. I'm not going to take a test. I'm going to try and get my parents not to. I'm going to tell my parents, please don't take the test. Don't take the vaccine. But I don't know. My parents, my parents trust government. I'm starting to think this, y'all. How we hear about the black horse of pestilence, and then we see the white horse coming in with the rider. I think either the white horse death or the rider is government, is the New World Order. I don't know how to back that up, but I just get a feeling. TIP and WTI says, Kyle, did you notice the weapons before you noticed the gang stalking? Yeah, I did. I was gang stalked mine was weird because I was like being targeted like a decade before and even more. And so it was weird, like state of the art mind control, state of the art nervous system manipulation. I had gang stalking situations that were just people acting weird, I thought. But then when it was over targeting 2011, high pitched sound, voice to skull, I noticed that. And then I noticed the neighbor that I thought was doing it, he would follow me, like he would be at the same supermarket I would go to. He would be getting his mail at the same time. So like the high pitched ringing, head just feeling like it was about to explode. And then voice of skull, which I thought was my neighbor, that I could just hear my neighbors for like a year. I thought it was just that my ears were damaged or something like that. I noticed that, but then, right after that, like a couple of days after, I noticed like very specific gang stalking. Hey, Drunken Ninja. Drunken Ninja says, sup, Kyle. Sup, Wolverines. A Wolverine fam. Let me show you this, guys. TIP and WTI says, do they use sleep deprivation on you? Yeah, they sure do. With me, what they use a lot is pain, vagus nerve stimulation to me, and that makes my head really foggy. It's hard to think, and then the remote neural manipulation works better, right? Of course, with all the trauma of the external hits, but yeah, they still do sleep deprivation. They don't do, it's not like consistent though, because they're using this vagus nerve stimulation and something. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not prescribing this, and you have to be very, very careful, very careful. I do notice that lorazepam, if I'm taking lorazepam like 0.5 milligrams a day, usually the sleep deprivation is less, and I can get to sleep a lot easier. But for some people are like more prone to addiction and stuff, and Ativan or lorazepam is very, very addictive because it's a benzodiazepine. Actually, Jordan Peterson just had a lot of, like, he got really sick from benzodiazepine withdrawals. But for me, I can take like 0.5 milligrams of lorazepam every once in a while if I really can't sleep, and it helps me. Or red vein kratom. Kratom I'd really recommend, but those things, right? And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not prescribing. Talk to your doctor about those things, especially the lorazepam. But like the kratom has been really good. It does something to the remote neural manipulation where it's not as effective, their remote neural manipulation. So the red vein kratom, green vein kratom, if you want to stay, like, not fall asleep and stuff like that. Thanks, Kim. I appreciate that. Kim says, thanks, Kyle. You really do help. I'm trying to just, is single people, right? And especially targeted individuals, we can't swing a mighty sword and just bring all evil to an end in the world. But we can just put in the information that we have. If we all do it, it makes it like infects the rest of the public. So we're like, have you ever seen Star Wars, the second one, The Last Jedi? I liked it. I mean, I see why people were kind of mad about it, but I liked it. But the guy, Poe said, what did Poe say? Poe said, we will be the spark to light the fire, right? We will be the spark to light the fire of the rebellion. So I think as targeted individuals, and now really everyone who's a good person in the world, and even some bad people are still being targeted in the world, but we can be the spark to light the fire. You got to take your little actions, which you know about, your talents and everything, and then you're this little spark, this seed, and then it infects people with good things, right? We're being infected with so many evil things and draconian things. This infection that we've been infected with, my darkness, is now like going up to a new level, going up to a level where people are like, oh, are we going to even be able to get anything back here? So as people, we got to light the little fires, right? Just don't think about this as like, I have to save the world, because then you're paralyzed. You're like, what do I do? Even sometimes when I'm doing a YouTube video, I have a lot of information to go through, but I'm like, ooh, I have so much information, it's filling up my head, and I want to talk about this, 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 and this. You want to take things in small bites and come at it every day, what you can do every day. And no matter what happens, I mean, we have to take moral actions that are blessed by God, and come what may in the world, come what may in the world. We got to try to get our freedoms back. We got to, try and protest this stuff. I mean, we're going to have to do bigger stuff than just getting information out on, social media. But who knows if we'll have that for long. Wayne Moore says, I traveled about, so 7,500 kilometers. So you left, Wayne? Oh, you're talking about targeting. Oh yeah, I went to West Virginia, and I was gang stalked right when I hit down. The V2K was like 50% or 30% of what it was in Louisiana, but then after a week they had gotten it back up to the same level. Yeah, Drunken Ninja says, I have to say the word. We can by small actions. By our small actions, if we try, you can encourage other people to try, and you can be that spark, right? Infecting people with, uh, with hopeful action, with assertiveness, and because like if you see it in the these, I don't think it was maybe it was the Milgram experiment. I think it was a separate experiment, but it's a little bit like it, where they have a room full of people and they show like three lines, right? And one of them is different, and they have everybody in the room is an actor, and so they say all the lines are the same. Like they say, they'll start and they'll ask them, are all the lines the same? The first person will say, yeah, all the lines are the same. Second person, then about 4 people down, they'll have a person who's not an actor, and then they get to that person, and that person, because of peer pressure, says, oh yeah, all the lines are the same, right? Because they don't want to be different than the other people. They question their own thoughts, right? But when they do that same experiment where some of the people before them say, yeah, that one line is different, right? You have just one person doing that, the person who's not an actor, and that person would be an actor saying, yeah, that one line is different. But then you have that one person who's not an actor who has more bravery to say, yeah, that line's different because there's one other person disagreeing, right? So it's a very, very important concept in these times, because we're going to have a lot of people in our public saying, oh, all the lines are the same. We got to do what government tells us to do, to be that person that says, no, this is not right, and to stand up. You can start this little fire of people doing the right thing. It's very, very important. It's part of their propaganda, to try and get everybody like saying the same thing that's wrong, and getting good people to kind of back down. Cannot back down. It's this is it, right? I mean, it's do or die, so there's no reason to go along. It won't buy us any safety, and it definitely won't buy us any freedom. Final Fantasy says, Kyle, when you applied for disability, did you specifically say you were targeted? Yeah, I went to the Social Security like psychiatrist, and I told him everything. I said everything that was happening, and really they judged it as mental illness. I also have Crohn's disease from when I was little, which now I more than suspect that I was targeted since birth, and it created autoimmune issues. But yeah, like I told them everything. If you're trying to get Social Security, well, I can talk to people. Email me if you're trying to get Social Security, and I will talk to you over the phone. Because some things I don't want to say like on a video, but I know how to get it. Like, I mean, I knew the things to say, and I worked with my mom to make sure that I would get it, because I couldn't, where I worked for like years and years, but V2K, like them hitting me in the center of the back while I was working and stuff like that, I couldn't keep working. There's just no way. Butterfly Renouncing Control says, we got a lot of cases here in Georgia, apparently. This is going to go on a long time, guys. Start your own food sources, even in apartments. It can be done. Yeah, I think that's really important. I think that's really important to start like growing like some easy foods. And there's some videos on YouTube where they show like very, very simple foods that grow fast, And then we definitely need food backups, which like the little sealed food that isn't that great, but you can buy like a year's worth of it. We really do need to prepare. I'm very worried that they're going to keep this going on way longer than 12 months. They may bring some things back, like let people kind of start going back to work, maybe at the end of April, May, maybe at the end of May, but they're going to keep a lot of the things in place. I really don't know how it's going to go right now, guys. And that's why I'm worried about Passover, because they're going to have a lot of people who are like, okay, it's almost April 30th. You got to let us go back to work. They need something. to increase the fear. They need something to show people, look, this is why we can't do that, right? And they need a reason to more of a reason, because just saying we got to pull people from their homes when everybody's starting to see that COVID-19 is not dangerous for people who aren't very, very old or have previous conditions, right? They're going to need something that for people to be like, okay, well, you can come to my home. Well, where they'll let it happen. Most people, and some people aren't. Like I am not going to let anybody take me from my home. I'm going to do everything I can not to be taken from my home. I'm very concerned as a targeted individual because we know that they want us gone. This experimentation, they don't want anybody to know about it. Malekha Olam says, I'm sure I'm not the only one, and I don't want anyone to respond in a way that might compromise them, but I've considered a throw mama from the train quid pro quo response to this. We got to be sophisticated, guys. And on social media, we've got to talk about it in a certain way, so that we're not just taken down. Right now is the time to just take action in a very peaceful way, and it always is. It always is, but right now is a very important time to, like, if you have a YouTube page or on Facebook or on Twitter, to get these ideas, these truths infecting the general public so that we'll have more people. And like I was saying on my last video, it's an important time for like Q patriots to go into those videos and in the comment section say, we are losing our freedoms, please wake up. We need those people. That's a release valve right there. If we get the Q people awake, understanding that it's very bad and Donald Trump ain't going to save us and Q ain't going to save us, then we'll have many more warriors, getting good information, passing good information along, maybe being able to prepare things. We just got to do what we can do when we can do it while we can. APB's TI D-Base 777 says, save your seeds from preppers. From peppers. They're easy to grow. Potato eyes and carrot seeds, wheatgrass seed. Thank you, APB. See, Butterfly renouncing control says, my husband says there are 5G towers all around his work at a nuclear plant. He said it doesn't affect him. I don't understand how or not. Some people aren't as sensitive to electromagnetic fields. I think blood type plays a very big role in it. I'm not sure which blood types are more sensitive, but some people, it's like, some people can have their phone, like say they're not a targeted individual, they can have their phone by them and they'll get this big headache, but then some people don't even notice it, right? I don't think I was electromagnetically sensitive before I was targeted severely, but being targeted so severely made me more electromagnetically sensitive. Like, so before I could have sat on my computer, my phone, and I didn't really feel it, that I've been targeted for a long time. But as I've been targeted more, it's like my body gets more sensitive to it, which is really weird. It's really, really weird. Drunken Ninja says it would be worse than China because they are poor and have a bad health system. It'd be worse than China. Wayne Moore says my Nana used to call it the asshole of the earth. Laugh my ass off. Wait, what did she call the asshole there? Arachno Nixon says, and if not, I understand, but can you identify if it was a Bradley fighting vehicle or an Abrams? Yeah, there's tons of tanks being rolled into cities. I think that it's in preparation for mass gatherings and protests and people looking for food and things like that. I think that the plan is they already know they're not going to just reopen things on April 30th. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm warning about Passover, right? It's today. It's almost Friday. It's like 11:58 p.m. here. So this would be Friday. Donald Trump once had a license plate that said 4/10/20. I'm hoping that things don't pop off even more. They are popping off, right? But I'm hoping that there's no FF in addition that's big. But I can't see how they're gonna. A lot of people are still asleep, and a lot of people are still like, if I go outside, you know, the virus is dangerous and I might give it to somebody, they might give it to me. But there's a big percentage that's like, no, no, blah, blah. So I'm just seeing that they're going to have to do something bigger. And it really concerns me. And I hope I'm wrong. You know, all we can do is pray and be hopeful and be prepared and definitely not, you know, cause fear in each other. And we're going to be praying and stuff tonight. But y'all see what I'm saying? At the rate that it's going now, you're going to have more protests. You're going to have more people disobeying rules to go back to work and trying to get back into the swing of things because, you know, people are dying from regular causes, not the genetic material. Let's watch this David Icke clip. And you know, it wasn't David Icke. Like my live stream got taken down. And at first I was like, is David Icke copywriting all of this stuff? Oh, I hate, you know, I can't believe he did that. It's London Real, you know, copyrighted it. But I'm going to play this from David Icke. And I think I need to keep this live stream like probably under like 2 or 3 hours, probably 3 hours, so that I can edit it if that does happen again. But I'm pretty sure David Icke is okay with me putting out his material. That's what I try and do. When I show other people's material, what I say is I want to give them credit for it, and I want to show people's information that it's a person that I know that they want their information out. And David Icke is one of those people where he's like, yeah, you know, he would. Like if I asked David Icke, if I said, hey, can I show that where you talked about is COVID-19 virus? He'd be like, yes, I want to get this information out. So that's a good kind of litmus test for whose information that you can mirror and stuff. And if you see a video that's super important and you have a YouTube channel, you know, put it out, mirror it, and give that channel credit so you can bring more people to that channel. We need to use YouTube. We need to start using it as a weapon. I've been saying this for years. I've been saying it for years as targeted individuals. Some people do it. Some people do it a little bit. I haven't even been doing it good enough, right? But we really, at this point, we might not have social media for long. So we've really got to start using it as like, get as much information out, infect the public with the truth, get people waking up on what's going on. We got to make a final push here. I hope not final. I hope everything goes where we still have all these things, right? But I'm preparing for some stuff. Let's see. Malek Halam says the fact that those pointing out the dangers of electromagnetic emissions began to include OSEH in their arguments for the formation of international regulatory bodies, for it shows this to be true. Yeah, it's definitely true. The people who work on it, the people who put it up, you know, they've done testing. The industries that put it up, the communications industries have done testing, and they get some scientists to lie about it, but most scientists will do the testing, but they won't lie. So what they've done, if you saw Dana Ashley's video where the guys were in front of the Senate, you know, talking about, they're like, no, industry hasn't even paid for any tests. And that's a lie. It's a lie because they didn't get the results that they wanted. They just said, no, there's been no testing. But everybody, any truthful, honest scientist who's ever looked at 5G knows that it causes cancer, knows that it causes neurological damage, knows that it causes nervous system damage, knows that it damages cells, which would lead to cancer, right? I mean, it's just completely obvious. Millimeter wave really hurts people, and a lot of other frequency bands hurt people a lot. And they're just going to put this stuff in and say, oh, well, it's good for consumers, it speeds up internet, and it's also going to be used as furthering the frequency weapons grid that was up before they even started installing 5G. Important point for anybody who's not a targeted individual. I know targeted individuals already know this. There is a frequency weapons grid using satellite as the brain, radar, a phased array antenna, drones. Radar is really a very important one because radar can come from a long way away. Like I think that like my attackers, I get these electronic cigarettes, and of course my attackers hit me and use neural weapons on me. But like I have these little electronic cigarettes, and I wanted to tell y'all, some of these they'll heat them up so they don't last as long, and so it starts like burning them, and it gives a weird flavor. And they do this as just a little, it's like a little angle of their harassment of me. But I noticed that if I can find it, the pink one, I have this pink one, this pink lemonade. It's pink, and it's the worst one. It's the one that they can hit the easiest, this pink color. But like if I have one that's gray or something like that, they can't hit it. So we may need to take it, and this is really, guys, like over a long period of time, they can hit this very easily, this pink neon color. So I think about those gang stalkers who wear the neon shirts, like a neon color or pink can be easily identified. And we might want to start wearing some darker colors, gray. I'm not sure about white, but like neon stuff is very easy for my attackers to hone in on and hit. They can really hit them all, but this one is just super. It's like, boom, they're on it right when I get it. And they cook the insides of the electronic cigarettes, and then it's totally useless, and they're really expensive. I've really got to quit this time. I'm just gonna quit smoking. Well, let's watch this, guys. Hey, what's up, Messenger of the Cross? Messenger of the Cross says, I mean, social distancing is a dictator's wet dream. Yeah, no protest, no gathering up to talk about what to do, you know, no like kind of town halls with people of morals to say what do we need to do here. It's a very, very dark time. That's why I put up, y'all see my YouTube picture. Y'all know what that is. That's Luke Skywalker and Empire Strikes Back. I believe in our country, we are in the Empire Strikes Back, you know. Luke, I am your father. No! This government is not my father. I just hope we have a Return of the Jedi, you know what I'm saying? So let me show this. This is really important. I'm so angry. I'm so angry that I did that live stream and I was so happy about it. And I was like, okay, well, I can just edit that minute out of it and put it back up, but I can't. I can't because the video is too big. So we'll just go through information tonight. The big things, like the bottom line things that I want to get out is there's an additional frequency weapons grid in addition to the 5G consumer and weapons grid. And that can be used to make people release these exosomes. That, you know, I want to give a warning for Passover, not scare people. But from what the Surgeon General said, and Donald Trump has been saying a lot of people are going to die, I just feel like there's something coming. It's like it's already here, right? This crisis is here, but I feel like they need something big to cement it and as a ritual for them. And then the third thing would be, you know, connect with God. He's very, very objective. These benevolent forces, a chain of command up to God, and we need to connect with them now to get direction of what to do in our lives and how to help people, right? What we should do. And you know, that video was like I was saying, it's kind of crude, but it's like when you really, really need to use the bathroom. That window of, like, I can't see my window. Okay, there it is. There it is. Cool. So let's play this. I'm going to play like the first 7 minutes, and I'll get my tablet out. We may stop it so I can go through some of y'all's comments. I'm pretty sure that David Icke does not mind, but I'm going to make this like, I don't know, I'm going to try and keep it at least under 4 hours. Hopefully we won't need to go that long. I mean, it just depends, right? We'll see. We'll hang out and stuff like that. But let me play this real quick.
Well, I'll ask the question, which will shock many in your audience, I'm sure. Is there a virus? Is there a virus called COVID-19? When you talk and listen to virologists and specialists and doctors who are not allowed into the mainstream media, doctors around the world in Germany and America and Austria, they are asking that question big time, because, you know, they have not identified COVID-19. And so what's going on, I can elaborate on and how this all plays out and why people appear to be dying from it. But if people go to my website when they've watched this, davidicke.com, they'll find a video by a New York medical doctor, New York State medical doctor, now works in psychiatry, called Andrew Kaufman. And it's a absolutely brilliant breakdown of a crucial area of this story. He describes how when people started to
Okay, guys, I see a question
in China
in the chat that I know the answer to. So Sleeping Beauty says, does anyone know why Trump doesn't have the presidential seal on the podium anymore? So this is simple, guys. This is oh, and this sucks. My attackers make it so I can't see my webcam. So I don't know if I'm looking. Whatever. So the presidential seal was taken down because whenever you have the president just by himself doing like a speech or something like that, they'll keep the presidential seal. But in those task force meetings, they have like, you know, that lady and Dr. Fauci and what's his name? Bill Barr and everybody like that. So because other people are talking other than the president, they can't leave the presidential seal up. So if it was just the president coming out to give a speech and nobody else was going to be speaking, they would leave it up. So it's not any kind of signaling, and it's nothing like nefarious or anything like that. It's just because other people are speaking at the podium. Like, and I'm 100% sure on that.
They had about 200. I think it was up at 198 to start with. And they investigated 7 of them. And they did this by taking lung fluid. And they decided, with no evidence whatsoever, that the cause of their illness was a virus, which has been given the name COVID-19. But they never identified a virus from the lung fluid. They identified genetic material, which they coded. And they called it COVID-19, a virus.
And if people's environment, like the electromagnetic fields of the earth, if that's affected, then you know, then they'll release that genetic material. And I think that it's like different in different. See, I think we have a lot of different exosomes that create like different ones that would create pneumonia or influenza or this COVID-19. I think anybody showing any of them has this genetic material that they're testing for, which is not specific to COVID-19. This is bothersome. Like I can usually see myself, so I can see where I'm talking to, and my attackers have hacked into the application, so I can't see that.
That genetic material is produced by a string of other possible causes, including lung cancer. So what they started doing, and this is what's happening to a large extent around the world still to this day, is they started to diagnose COVID-19, which they never identified and isolated, through symptoms. And you will notice that they are describing, what are the symptoms of COVID-19? Oh, they're flu-like symptoms. Yeah. The symptoms are the same as, again, a long list of other causes, including influenza, cold, etc., etc. But suddenly, instead of diagnosing them in their spectrum of possibility, anyone with those symptoms now had COVID-19, and it went down, they got COVID-19. So loads of people who had respiratory and other symptoms that would relate to flu-like symptoms, especially this year, in this time of the year, was now COVID-19. So the numbers started to fly, purely on redesignating all those symptoms from many possible causes as COVID-19, which they've never identified. The Chinese then, before they had any proof that it was a virus, or whatever it was causing those people to fall ill, they developed a test for it called a PCR test. Actually, it's an RT-PCR test. And this is what is being used to test people in America and all around the world now. And it is not testing for COVID-19. How can it? They've not identified it and isolated it.
You know,
what it's testing for is this sequence of genetic material found in the lungs of these patients in China that has a long list of other possible causes, including lung cancer. And what Kaufman, and then of course what happens is,
yeah, Rick, I got that email. I don't have that video up. Is it on his channel or is it on London Real? If it's from London Real, I can't show it. I can't show anything from London Real because they'll take down my whole live stream.
That people are tested, they test positive for not the virus, but for this genetic material, and they're now COVID-19. So you can see the numbers getting greater and greater and greater. And Kaufman then goes on to point out that when cells are toxic, when they are poisoned, what happens is they release, as part of the immune cleansing system, they release something called exosomes. This is all part of the natural body response system to toxicity in the cells. Without that, we'd be in real trouble. And these exosomes are also found in lung fluid, where this whole thing was supposed to come out of. What he then does is show you a picture of a exosome, and he shows you a picture of alleged COVID.
Yeah, Wayne asks, where's Mr. Two? I don't know, man. I saw his last. Is he in Spain still? Yeah, Mischievous M says, so much is being exposed. People are going to be outraged. That's what I'm saying. Like, so much of this information is getting out, and I'm like, you know, this seems to not be working. It seems like people are understanding that this is a trick, right? Doctors are coming out, nurses are coming out and speaking out against it, saying, you know, they're just checking off people who had like pneumonia. They're saying they had COVID-19, or people who had, you know, were about to die from a heart attack. They died if they were tested for COVID-19, then they'd mark it down as a death for COVID-19. So it's all coming out, and I'm thinking, you know, as a targeted individual and somebody who's kind of watched what the top-down structure has done, I'm like, they must have prepared for that somehow. They must know that a lot of people are going to do that. Are they going to somehow try and use that against us, right? And that's one thing that I'm trying to, is a targeted individual. A lot of things that happen to us and that we do, it's like a catch-22. And I'm like, are they going to use like some admirable, virtuous, really, really good actions of the public and then lock us down further? Like kind of just ensnare us with people trying to actually do the noble thing and get our freedoms back. I'm very, very concerned about that. We still have to do it. You know, we still have to do what we can and hope that it's blessed by God and that he can, you know, get us out of that catch-22 somehow. But that's something that I'm like, if they didn't prepare for that, like the top down, they didn't have an algorithm and knew that so many people are going to be seeing this as a lie, then they're screwed. We might actually have this. We might actually be able to do this, you know? We might actually be able to take down that structure. Everybody will know how corrupt it is. Maybe create a new government. Could happen. Could happen.
COVID-19.
It's kind of a naive hope, you know?
The same.
Yeah, Lion in the Lamb says
COVID-19,
they will cut the internet.
Showing you on a slide.
Lion in the Lamb says they will cut the internet. I'm very concerned about that. That's why I'm just trying to. We'll stay on live stream. I may do another live stream after this, just in case what I'm showing right now takes this video down with the copyright thing. So maybe like in 2 hours, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I just don't want to probably go over like 4 hours. Wayne Moore says we can do this. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, get prepared. We got to do the best that we can do. We just take the honest, assertive actions to try and keep our freedoms, and then we leave it up to God, you know. And if we, but I think right now what's important is waking up people that are like waiting on cue, or really good people who still may believe in government. We gotta get our numbers bigger, right? For when we do take serious action, and then take the serious action of getting information all out over social media, which kind of goes into waking everybody else up. Yeah, Drunken Ninja says, to quote Nike, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Hey, Alan says, Hollywood pre-written scripts of real-time murder movies, 500 million to remain. I hope not. I mean, I think, you know, even if they don't get down to was it 500 billion or 500 million in the Georgia Guidestones? It's like, even if they don't get what they want this time, it seems like it's a preparation for 2030, right? So it's all a build up. And then they say the waves, right? The waves of this virus. It's like, even if we get it under control here, or they say that we get it under control, right? They're going to say, well, there's waves of it. And then somebody was saying in a comment, well, what about when in the fall, when flu season starts up, and they just say that's a wave of the COVID-19, you know? So this wave thing, I'm going to show that video again, because that was on the live stream that I can't get back up. And that's a very important video. These waves, the symbolism of waves, and we know that they have to tell us what they're doing in this weird, you know, in this weird subliminal way that we think is just, you know, just art or movie or a commercial or something like that. But it's really them giving us their plans.
Is actually exosomes, part of the body's natural detoxification system, which also comes into that genetic.
Is it 500 billion, Drunken Ninja?
And so, whenever
I think it's 500 billion.
Toxic cells, which can be caused by disease, they can be caused by stress, fear.
Maybe it is 500 million.
Toxins. They can be caused by
I can't remember.
electromagnetic fields.
I got so much
5G.
crap in my head. Really, Wayne, I'm going to read that.
Toxic, they release these exosomes.
So this is very important. Let's listen to this again.
And so, whenever you have toxic cells, which can be caused by disease, they can be caused by stress and fear, be caused by toxins, they can be caused by electromagnetic fields, brackets 5G. When the cells become toxic, they release these exosomes as part of the response process. And then when you look at the list of...
So the whole thing is good right here. Like, this whole description that David Icke gives is crucial. I'm going to put it in the description. I don't think he's going to have a problem with it. We'll see. I want to get it set up so I can see, because I don't know where to look. Oh, there it is. Why is it doing that? Let me go to my settings real quick. And I want to read that comment that Wayne put in, because it's super important. Where's the settings? Settings? Settings. Got it. Left click it. My attackers have all this stuff set up because they know how I do things, and so they can get into the program and make it so I can't see and then I'm like looking like I don't know where to look. They have their little jabs. Wayne says, I genuinely think we will overcome this. I wouldn't, Wayne Moore says, I wouldn't try otherwise. Yeah. And I mean, I think, why I do things, why I put information out is I know how bad it is, right? Especially as a targeted individual. And we didn't stop this program yet. But I've been working so long with that, we have to do it anyway. And you might not get exactly the goal that you set out for. Like, okay, let's just take the example of me as a targeted individual. All the other target individuals want to get this program stopped. But at the end, we get people knowing about it, right? And then a UN investigation comes out. So it gets the ball rolling. It definitely plants a seed. It's a spark that lights the fire, right? God can use our actions to do something that we maybe didn't start out to do. Our goal in our human head was to get this accomplished, but our actions, our valiant moral actions, and I'm having trouble with words tonight, but like our just positive actions to try and fix the world, try and fix people, try and make people better and fight for their own freedoms. It's going to lead to good. It's going to lead to a place where people will be stronger against evil, no matter what, no matter if we don't hit the exact goal that we set out for. Because it's looking like they're making it a catch-22 where no matter what we do, they're going to go along with their plans, right? They've cemented so much power in government and above, and the corporations, like at the top of the pyramid, they've just collected all this power over so long. So it's like, oh my God, everybody should have been protesting in all their different countries for years, since the 1990s. After 2001, everybody should have been out in the streets every day, but that's not how human beings work, right? We have to go to our jobs, or we have to, take care of our families and eat, or whatever. And me, it was like I had to deal with this targeting. So that was what I was dealing with. And I feel like in this world, there's a lot of injustice going on. Now it's like the same injustice that we're all dealing with. But what's specific to you? If you tackle that angle and you have somebody else that's experiencing another form of the injustice of maybe this whole system, they tackle a certain angle, and we have all these different fronts tackling all the different angles, I just like what Jeff Censored says, we've got to do what we can do while we can do it, fight for good till the end. And then even the end's not the end. The end of this world is not the end. What are we going to be able to do? When God takes us up to heaven, well, we may be able to be angels and help the ones who are suffering down here. So this is definitely not the end. And I really believe, I'm a very scientific person, but and I was very scared of death for a long time because the targeting was so bad. And I was like, I don't know if think about nothing afterwards. Life is such a gift, but maybe we have nothing. But now I really see that there's stuff beyond frequency and energy in my angels. They don't like speak to me or anything, but they speak to my heart, and they're like, yeah, there's definitely after this, and it's like, the agents of God, and just God in the name of Jesus Christ, they'll speak to your heart. And I hate to go back to that crude example, but when you need to use the bathroom and you use the bathroom, look for that feeling. Look for that feeling of, I need to do this, because if I do this, it's going to relieve. That's kind of God speaking to us, just as nature speaks to us, right? Nature speaks to us when we need to evacuate our bodies. Okay, I'm going to get away from that metaphor, I promise. But God will let you know spiritually, when you need to get something out. I feel like in this world right now, because the weapons, like the weapon systems, the 5G grid, the frequency weapon grid, that's like ultimate power. I mean, it's like I saw TC was saying the Death Star is the Death Star. I can't remember the word. The Death Star is operational. They've got it operational. They've been building up for a long time. And I feel like the truth, noble actions that everybody can see, those are going to be our greatest weapons right now. And in those little situations, those little situations where you have somebody coming on your property or trying to get in your house, then regular weapons can be useful. I don't want to go too much into that, It's 500 million. Okay, Drunken Ninja says, so it's 500 million on the Georgia Guidestones. Drunken Ninja says only 7 billion people on Earth. Yeah. Oh, I said 500 billion. Yeah, I wasn't thinking. Yeah, 500 million. I got so much stuff going on in my head. Lion Lamb says, Kim, they have been vibrating my heart so much. Yeah, my attackers have just been really screwing me. Like the side of my, giving me headaches, making me tired, then screwing up like my capacity to speak out and make videos, freezing everything up. It's like they really just want me to shut up. It seems like they're more bold now. They're like, you know, there's so much chaos. They don't say this. They haven't said this exactly, but my feeling from it is they're like, there's so much chaos that now you really can't get help. And they are trying to make me fearful of somebody coming to my door. You know, the B2K is like, they're going to come and get you, man. You're on the list. I'm actually kind of concerned about that too, because there's, you know, your neighbors, you're being gang stalked. You're the target in your community, right? And then people are going to start snitching on people and say, oh, well, I suspect they have COVID-19, right? And it can be just a suspicion because it's this invisible enemy, right? An invisible enemy where they can just make any excuses they want during it. So we just got to be prepared. Yeah, Alan, I know it's 500 million. Yeah, I misspoke, guys. Yeah, Wayne says tyranny happens when good men do nothing. That's what Martin Luther King said, and that is so true. I think that's more evil than evil people doing stuff, because some evil people are just like psychotic sociopaths. It's more of a tragedy when good men don't do anything. It creates more evil. Some of those people doing evil, they're just animals, and you really can't expect anything more from them. But when good men don't act, you expect them to do courageous activities. I mean, now, it should have been 20 years ago, should have been before everything that came out. Drunken Ninja says, I don't think the UN can stop this. It's like asking the USA to admit to having a nuke in 1943. Ain't happening. Yeah, I mean, they can't like come out and say what was really happening and who was doing it, but it could stop, and they could they could make out the people who were actually doing it to be the heroes stopping it, and saying it was just terrorists doing it or rogue agents or something like that. My thing is like, I do want the truth to come out about exactly the details of the contractors doing the targeting and everything like that. But the first priority for me is just to get it stopped. Like if we got it stopped and then the mainstream media went with this false narrative of who was doing it and whatever, that would be like a first priority. And then we need to like really get the truth out of actually what happened. But my priority is just people who are being tortured. We got to stop it. And there are some ways. And this, people are like, put the gun out and look what they're doing. Yeah, obviously they were experimenting on people. Obviously they were torturing people. So it allows for people to understand how bad it was. Butterfly Renouncing Control says people just kiss the government's behind after 9/11, which is what it was meant for. Oh no, we got to fear terrorism and give up rights and stalk our neighbors. Yep, and get people to do some very scary, evil things when they're afraid and when they're listening to authority, and authority wants them to do divisive, draconian, and evil things, and we're seeing it. And the scariest thing, and this is why it's so important to let people know, you cannot catch COVID-19 the way that the mainstream media is saying, because that fear that people who are just going out trying to, keep their rights and trying to civilly disobey something that is brutally insane, you got people saying, well, they're going to hurt somebody. They're going to hurt somebody. So that's why the information of how viruses actually work and what's actually going on is so essential, because then people can start acting at least without fear of COVID-19, right? They're still going to be in fear of people coming to their homes, people, throwing them in FEMA camps. The only word that I can say. Brian had a better word. But let's go to this video. Oh, I want to show y'all one more thing real quick. Just to emphasize just to emphasize that there is a separate frequency weapons grid. Here it is. Okay. So check this out, guys. And this is something that targeted individuals have been dealing with for decades and decades. Thumbs up, guys. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe, and just get this. Alan Stordahl says it's a gloves off fight to the death. Good versus evil. Good news, good wins. I believe that too. I believe no matter what happens in this world, and you know, if y'all ever saw Gray State, I'm going to do a video on Gray State too. It was a movie that guy that was in the armed forces, and I really believe that he was targeted, his wife was targeted, even his child was targeted, and it ended in this mystery thing where they said that I'm trying to stay away from words that would hit the algorithms, but that he ended his family's life. And there, I watched, if you go to Netflix, guys, this is a movie. It's very, be in a good place in your head because it's very sad, but it's called A Gray State, A-G-R-A-Y State. And they have a documentary about the making all the way up to when it didn't get made, right? But this guy making it, and they have this part where his wife is saying that her daughter's jumping on the bed, and she heard this voice saying, "Do you like the song?" And then well, it appeared like she was going insane and having these rapture type experiences. And like I've met a lot of targeted individuals who, like, my targeting was a little bit more like, okay, B2K, I'm getting hit with a high pitched sound, getting hurt, but no like hallucinatory stuff. But our minds are different, right? And I'm not talking about like my mind's better and theirs isn't. Some people, their minds just work a certain way where these neuro weapons can have these effects, like these hallucinatory effects, where they feel like they're in another dimension. And I think they're actually, those people's minds are maybe even better than mine because they're so vivid. They can imagine things so vividly, just a different way that the mind works. But I really think that if you a Gray State, and the movie was supposed to be called Gray State, it was a movie that was still working on in 2013, and it was about this. I mean, it was about like a virus coming out. It was about the food disappearing, about the military coming to neighborhoods, and then they started rounding up people. And they, I think that he was targeted. He was targeted, and his family was ended. And they say that he did it, right? So you can go to Netflix and watch A Gray State, and towards the end of the documentary, there were sure signs that he and his wife and maybe even his daughter were being targeted by neuro weapons and directed energy weapons to keep him from getting that movie out because it was so right on the money about what's going on right now. And he saw it. He was part of the military, and he saw these things coming down the pipe. There's this one scene in the trailer for it where it's a guy at the guillotine with a mask, and he's wearing white, and he has a Mason apron on. So and I forgot the name. I forgot the name of the guy who did it, who was going to do the movie. Does anybody remember his name? Kyle Reese says Bill Cottle is back. Awesome. I hope he's doing okay, man. I hope that, I know everybody's doing bad because of what's coming down, but I hope his targeting's not that bad. I hope he's like healing up and stuff like that. I love Bill. Sleeping Beauty says, if anyone's interested, check out chlorophyll and chlorooxygen. It's supposed to be good for a bunch of stuff, and just order some. I'll definitely check that out, Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, Wayne Moore says they want to create more fear. Fear nothing. Wayne says, fear nothing. Fear nothing. We need to be prepared. We need to get spiritually prepared, physically prepared, defend ourselves from the targeting, watch what's coming, watch what's happening, watch what they're trying to hide, but no fear, no fear. And the more knowledge that we have, the better actions that we can take, right? Yeah, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear. Drunken Ninja says, need to get a home before your kingdom. Yeah. Alan Stordal said, thank you so much for providing a place for us to learn and chat. Yeah, no doubt, no problem. And y'all remember that Brock, the Badger Report, is going to have a live stream on Saturday at 6 p.m. He put, if you go to his channel, the Badger Report, he did a funny, really funny preview for it. So he's going to be doing some, and Wayne Morris is making videos, tons, and Jeff O. So hopefully some more people will start getting out some live streams and stuff. I'm worried about this weekend, and we're going to see I think we'll still, social media will still be around this weekend, but I just think coming up soon, the censorship, it's already so bad, but it's going to get so much worse. And they're just going to start taking older videos down. So the definition satellite radar can detect bridges at risk of collapse from space. This is from July 9, 2019, the University of Bath. An early warning system to identify at-risk structures using synthetic aperture radar, SAR, has been developed. The system could be applied to infrastructure projects, including roads, railways, and building developments at lower cost and greater accuracy than existing techniques. Researchers from NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory and the University of Bath have developed a satellite-based early warning system that could spot tiny movements in bridges that indicate they could collapse. So this is just one little example and angle of satellite radar. So the radar is on the ground. You got the satellite's the brain, and this radar can surveil little cracks, little movements in the bridge, right? But they use this stuff on that frequency weapons grid, the satellite being the brain. I think even straight from satellite, this you can have this frequency energy straight from satellite if they need to do that. But most of the time, it's initiating this infrastructure, the frequency weapons grid, and it's going to be able to initiate 5G towers, consumer or weaponized that consumers can't use, to actually surveil people to pinpoint accuracy, watch their movements, and also to hit them with neuro weapons, hit them with external directed energy weapons. And they're just filling in the gaps of this infrastructure, while the new world order is being cemented in. So it's really bad. Hey, James. Homeless King James says, I learned a dirty trick that applying suffering from the Lord at the time they hit you gives you endurance. I don't suggest it if you're physically or emotionally weak. I think if you pinch yourself like real hard, you're sending, like, your nervous system is sending all the signals from that to your brain. So what they're doing would be offset by that. But be careful with that. I'd say just like maybe pinch yourself sometimes, and it might kind of rewire your nervous system so that the things that they're doing kind of get redirected. I know what you're saying, man, but really just be careful. I think the defenses are a way better way. Yeah. Butterfly renounce and control. Yeah, I think that's what they want for all of my attackers would be so happy if I did that. I don't know if I want to say the word, but do away with yourself. They just want me to do away with myself. They obviously didn't know me well through profiling. And my attackers kept saying that a couple of years ago. They were like, we're going to get him to off himself. We're going to get him to off himself. And I was like, y'all don't know me. Y'all don't know me, man. Even when things are so bad, there is still hope. There's still things to enjoy in life. There's still people to help. You can enjoy good food for right now. right now, good drink, good activities, fun things. Even if I'm isolated, video games and making these videos and helping other people, walking my dog Pepper and things like that. I mean, I hang out with friends too, talking to my family. There's always good to hold on to, and God will bring good into your life to hold on to no matter how bad it gets. Yeah, Michael John says big money, so much the government could not do anything to them, so it's possible they will try again. Let's watch this thing about. Well, so I just wanted to show this an example of what kind of thing could be used in the frequency weapons grid. And we know radar is used, but weaponized radar, right? And then you have phased array antenna networks like HARP. Then you have phased array antennas on top of 4G technology. You're going to have stuff from 5G towers that can be used for consumers, but it can also be weaponized. The frequency weapons grid has been around for so long. Yeah, I'll put this in the description just so y'all can see that. I want to show this because somebody was talking about it earlier. And then we might show that waves thing one more time. Okay, so this is important. I'm going to play two. Let me find the other one from High Impact Blogs. And I know he doesn't care. He just wants the information out. Where is that? Where? I didn't pull. Did I not pull it up? Okay. Well, let's play this one, and then I can find the other one from here. So this is from High Impact Blogs. Subscribe to him. He's staying on top of it. He's getting out good information. He's picking up things that we need to see. We need to see them saying it. Like the government, like Donald Trump's little task force is admitting that people who aren't necessarily dying of COVID-19 are being marked down as dying from COVID-19. So they're even admitting it. I don't understand. I don't understand how the top of the pyramid is seeing this stuff, and it seems like their plan is not going accordingly. Seems like that to me. But I'm like, whoa, when's the other shoe? Did they know this was going to happen? Because I've been targeted so long, and I see how these people work. They try and use some good things that are coming out to do even worse things. And we still got to do them. And let's not do that. The targeting has made me more cynical. Algorithms from the top of it, and they really understand how humans react to things. So they miss,
intentional,
they miss some things.
Accidental consistent error. This is not only proof that the numbers absolutely cannot be trusted, but that those who are inflating those numbers are guilty of one of the most heinous crimes in the history of America, if not the world. Why? Because the experts keep telling us that there are mass influenza, and because that fear is creating an atmosphere wrought with restrictive, draconian, unconstitutional, rights trampling, economy crushing measures for all the death, destruction, mayhem, and
and Carlisle said a huge contractor that has so much to do with the frequency weapon grid, torture, and experimentation. Raytheon, really more the manufacturer that other contractors use the weapon.
And misleading information happen to be causing. So listen to the question of an answer by Deborah Bergs, one of the Cerveza Bug Task Force members.
Hey, baby.
Can you talk about your concerns about deaths being misreported by coronavirus because of either testing or standards for how they're characterized?
Can you talk about your concern about deaths being misreported by coronavirus because of either testing or standards or how they're characterized?
So I think in this country, we've taken a very liberal approach to mortality. And I think the reporting here has been pretty straightforward over the last 5 to 6 weeks.
A liberal approach to mortality in regard to recording coronavirus deaths, and yet straightforward? So a straightforward liberal approach? Oxymoron, anyone?
Prior to that, when there wasn't testing in January and February, that's a very different situation and unknown.
Remember, all the tests to this day are still, by their own words, highly inaccurate, even going so far as to say that 80% of those tests produce a false positive. Let's put it this way. If those were the kinds of pitiful odds that were dished out in the area of, say, recreation or travel, nobody in their right mind would ever get on a roller coaster, use a parachute, board an airplane, or vacation on a cruise ship. The testing they have is as unreliable as it is laughable.
There are other countries that if you had a pre-existing condition, and let's say the virus caused you to go to the ICU and then have a heart or kidney problem, some countries are recording that as a heart issue or a kidney issue and not a COVID-19 death.
What if it was the heart or kidney issue that caused you to go to the hospital and then they tested you for cerveza bug? See, what they like to say is that regardless, you're there from cerveza bug. So if you died with cerveza bug, well, then cerveza bug was the cause of death.
Right now, we're still recording it, and the great thing about having forms that come in and a form that has the ability.
Yeah, Kyle Reese says, can confirm that in my city, Masons, my attackers, my High Mind team is definitely comprised of Masonic people. They're ex-military and they're Masonic, and they get so agitated and they change their behavior when I start talking about rituals and Masons, in Mystery Babylon. They get just out, like if I'm not even doing a video and I watch some videos by Bill Cooper where he's talking about Mystery Babylon, they go ape,
To mark it as COVID-19 infection. The intent is right now that if someone dies with COVID-19, we are counting that as a COVID-19 death.
What the hell did you say?
Let me just repeat what she said there.
Yeah,
the intent
Ron
is
said something
right
really
now
important.
that if someone dies with cerveza bug, we're counting that as a cerveza bug related death. You know what that's called right there? That's called game over. Illusion shattered. Lie exposed. The gig is up. The fable is revealed.
Yeah. Braun said something really important. Bronze 813 says, how can we kill a virus? Sun, UV light, dry it out with baking soda, and don't go to the hospital. Yeah, UV light and certain gigahertz frequencies can eradicate viruses. So with the 5G grid, if they wanted to, or the frequency weapons grid, they could resonate at the certain resonance of the genetic material, that's exosomes, and they could eradicate it if they wanted it to. And you're right, for people who maybe have like the flu, or they may have something that's, COVID-19, the exosomes came out, and it's like the common cold. If they go outside and they get sunlight, they're going to heal up quicker. And that's why they want people going into their homes. That's an angle of it. They want people in the darkness in their homes, not getting natural light, so they stay sicker longer, and they're able to get more sick.
Basically just said you absolutely cannot, under any circumstances, trust any number we've ever told you, tell you now, or will tell you in the future. Because we have an intent, and that intent is to drive that number as high as possible using whatever deaths we can, and the test will help us in our efforts.
I give a little bit. I'll give a little bit of my love to you.
Oh my God, come on.
Can you be sure? And you hear from coroners that that's not necessarily the case? Or are you sure? How can you be confident about that? And is there any concern that it skews the data that you're trying to collect in terms of projections and things like that?
Again, the reporter asked, how can you be confident about that? And is there any concern that this skews the data you're trying to collect in terms of projections? In other words,
Hey, I definitely will mischievous him. I'll check it out. And that's an important topic, you know. I know there's different, like I've seen some things, and maybe I'll do some videos on that. I've seen some things like that where it wasn't fake footage, and there's definitely some different genetics at the top. There's definitely some different weird stuff, like with politicians and certain leaders. Certain bloodlines have weird genetics where they will actually have like reptilian looking eyes. So that's a huge question for me. I don't think people will ever believe that until one of them like walks out in the street. But it's there's some really damning evidence about different genetics up the top.
throwing deaths into the COVID pile just because they tested positive for it. And the test could be completely wrong. But even with the high probability that the test is wrong, you still throw that death into the Johns Hopkins scary number. Now check out her answer.
I think that would apply more to rural areas that may not have the same level of testing, but I am pretty confident in New York City and New Jersey and places that have these large outbreaks and COVID-only hospitals. I can tell you they are testing. New York and New Jersey together have, by proportion, are testing extraordinarily well as Washington State and Louisiana.
But see, that's the thing. The tests they're using are, by their own admission, YouTube censored, off to a COVID-only lab, and certain Bill Gates / White House approved genius corporations and CEOs are highly incentivized by major government subsidized profits and taxpayer funded corporate bailouts to kick that fear mongering number as high as possible. In your neighborhood fox, if his three brothers qualifies them to guard to respond with a negative on that question, I can only assume that somebody's paying you to be that stupid.
So I don't see that there's been a barrier.
Percent true. There is no barrier in testing to diagnosis. Why? Because the test, by their own admission, is no objective barrier at all. It appears, and I'm not, as a smoke and mirrors parlor trick in the hands of government magicians, their banking overlords, and profit-driven pharmaceutical monopolies in order to intentionally crack world reserve digital currency and subsequent cashless society and roll out mandatory testing and mandatory vaccines to every man, woman, and child on the planet in the name of concerns by a lot of people that the test itself could be, and I'm not saying it is YouTube,
I think so too.
It could be the catalyst that causes a percentage of the test recipients to come down with flu-like symptoms, while at the same time
I think this
collecting DNA samples
such a
from
lie and
individuals
so
who are
bad.
foolish enough to suspend critical thinking, trust their government, and take the highly inaccurate test. But let's listen to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation representative, Cerveza Bug Task Force member, Anthony Fauci.
I think there's so much focus now on coronavirus that, particularly if you take New York, which we all know is having a disproportionately higher proportion of the burden.
Another advertisement? For real? Maybe Brian's trying to get, maybe he thinks his channel's going away. He's trying to kind of build up some cash before he goes. Mm. Mm. All right.
By the way,
There we go.
New York also has a disproportionately high number of this in all the areas that are reporting higher death rates. But we can't talk about that on this platform.
The entire country is right now in New York. I can't imagine if someone comes in with coronavirus, goes to an ICU, and they have an underlying heart condition and they die, they're going to say cause of death, heart attack. I cannot see that happening. So I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Of course it's not going to be a problem. For them, let me recap. Both Birx and Fauci, with the tacit approval of Trump and Pence, just admitted that everybody who dies with the cerveza virus, according to the highly inaccurate tests, which seem to be working out in favor of the Johns Hopkins death map a large percentage of the time, which in turn makes people more and more fearful with each passing day, everybody who dies with the cerveza virus needs to be marked as having died from the cerveza virus on their death certificates, which is literally the textbook definition of falsifying an official document. And you guys think. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comment section below, and like and share this video with everybody you know everywhere you can on social media. If we don't stand together during this present,
I think if people can understand better about 5G and the frequency weapons grid, then it's a key to understanding how big we're getting true. So this one, we can't play the whole thing, but let's play a little bit of it here. What is happening to our world?
You're out.
The New World Order.
Do you understand? And if you don't, be looking out for those cops.
All right, I will.
Get out of our
I'll be looking at
neighborhood.
those
Be
cops.
sheltered in place. Go ahead, put me on social media. You're a blue cop. Seriously?
So Homeless King James says, number 1, Robert Duncan. Number 2, Barry Trower and Birx. Wait, what is that? Oh, on the Homeless King James says, so on the God's list of wrath. I don't know, man. Robert Duncan and Barry Trower have been trying to get out truths about neuro weapons and directed energy weapons. I think Robert Duncan I don't think he's getting paid to do it, and I don't think he's trying to misdirect anybody. I don't know. Maybe they do have people that are, yeah, Wayne Moore says that's a worrying bit. It's very worrying. It's like people coming to our door, and then she admitted it. I mean, she's admitting that there are people that are just testing positive for COVID, and then they're dying of something else that they put them on the list. They go on the list.
Seriously, I called the cops. I can't wait.
Wow, I'm so scared.
Yeah, I like Trower.
Meanwhile, face coverings while out in public are now mandatory in Riverside County. And residents who don't comply could face a hefty fine. CBS 2's Candace Crone reports from Riverside with more on the new order.
The new order.
The county is really stepping up its efforts to slow the spread of the coronavirus by fining people who leave their home without wearing a mask. And the fine for violating the order is $1,000 per day per violation.
You read that? King James said Zacchaeus Breedlove Ewing brought up their names during a court case, and the judge said they didn't exist. I didn't know about that. Zacchaeus was a really, really smart guy. He's a very smart guy. He has a lot of right frequencies that are supposed to help. I've tried a lot of them. They help a little bit, but it's not like they stop my targeting. Wayne Moore says, yeah, the neighbors are our problem. I think, yeah, that's my biggest concern. My biggest concern isn't like actually somebody coming to my door and taking me away. It's, well, it would be, but I fear that since I'm targeted and there's so many of my neighbors that hate me for no reason, like, and they're still gang stalking me. They're gang stalking me even more. Like this one Asian mother, she walks her dog and just looks at me with such hatred. I'd be concerned about them filing a false report that maybe I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing during this, that I'm not staying indoors. And then they come to my house to question me. And since I'm a targeted individual, they just, take me in. And I haven't heard about it. I mean, where are they going to take these people? They're coming to their homes to take them away from their families. Are they going to take them to the tents to be treated? Or are they going to make new, is our Walmart's going to be used? Where are they going to keep people? And I also heard, I'm not sure about this, but a lot of troops, like 80% of the National Guard in some states, are being prepared to unload people from trains. Have y'all heard about this? Like, I'm going to show some of Richie from Boston days. We'll just hang out. I don't think I want to go over 4 hours. We'll hang out and just go over information. We'll just go over information tonight. That's funny. Kyle Reese said, Osh Walmart. Sleeping Beauty says, Kim, they hit me in the back often. I hate it. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, me too, Kim. Kim says, I'm getting radiation magnetic in my back right now. Yeah, my attackers right now are hitting me right in the upper spine. And then they're also trying to do remote neural manipulation to send pain all throughout here. And they're making me really tired. Like the other night, it seemed to be like this pocket of time where I was feeling kind of energetic, but now I'm just like, oh my God, I feel like I just have no energy. God, give us energy. God, give us relief from pain. God, just give us the strength. Give us the strength. Strengthen our biofield. Strengthen what's beyond frequency and energy. Let the Holy Spirit flow from us, out of us, to other people, to do what's right at this time. Give us energy to do so. Like just praying like that, I feel better. Like that guy James True was saying, he has this book called The Technology of Belief. And that y'all know, like for many years, right, doing these videos, I'm like, you just gotta believe. You have to believe. It's the biggest part of this. And it's seriously like believing that you can do it, something good can come of it. Believing that God's got you in the palm of his hands. Praying and believing in the name of Jesus Christ and God. Believing in God's agents, those angels will help you through. It's like he said plasma. Like, I'm not sure about the science of it, but he says it's a plasma that it increases your adrenaline and you can like turn it into changing reality. Belief, right? And these evil people try and use people's belief in them to actually change reality. Alex Jones, and I can't play it because it would be a copyrighted thing, but he has an interview with Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. It's the last one. If you go Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, he had a first one with him, Eddie Bravo, and Alex Jones, but then he had a second one where Eddie Bravo came in later. But in that interview, and maybe I'll pull it up to show y'all which one it is, Alex Jones said a big plan of the elites is to basically use the public, like the population of the world, is rocket fuel to kind of go to the next level. Now, I'm not talking about like use us as literal rocket fuel to fuel rockets, but use our energy, like our prana, our beliefs and stuff like that. I don't know a lot about prana, or if it's plasma fields or whatever, but there seems to be an energy of belief. We got to be careful about what we believe in, what we put our belief, what we put our praise in, right? So you got to believe in the pure God, in the name of Jesus Christ. You got to believe in good, because if you're putting all your belief in these systems, these elite, right, in the top of the pyramid, you believe they'll take care of you. They're just using that, sucking you dry, and then they're trying to kill you. So belief, I really do. I believe there's a technology of belief. Hey, Tansy. Tansy says, how is everybody? We're all hanging in there, I think.
repeat what you just said, please?
Well, last Friday, I received a 7-page document that sort of told me
Yeah,
that
strong.
if
Oh,
I had
listen
an
to this, guys.
86-year-old patient that had pneumonia but was never tested for COVID-19, but sometime after she came down with pneumonia, we learned that she had been exposed to her son, who had no symptoms, but later on was identified with COVID-19, that it would be appropriate to diagnose on the death certificate COVID-19. Now, we've not done that. If someone has the pneumonia and it's in the middle of a flu epidemic, and I don't have a test on influenza, I don't diagnose influenza on the death certificate. I will say this elderly patient died of pneumonia.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but my heart is sinking right now as you're telling me this. You're a doctor. Why in the world would they be sending you out information to fill out death certificates, whether the person's been diagnosed with COVID-19 or not, but then to say in the death certificate this person's death was caused by COVID-19? That does not sound right to me.
I went to the person in our office who does most of the death certificates over the last 10, 20 years, and I said, does this sound right? I had her look at the documents that I printed off, and she said, well, we've always been told that you always put down just facts. You don't put down any probabilities. You don't put any presumptions down. It's just what you know. And so this is concerning. And it actually gets to your point, Chris. When we start talking about the data that goes into the modeling, we have to ask ourselves a question. Are we being forthright? Are we sharing with the public? Minnesota, North Dakota, we don't need to be having it sugar-coated. We want to know what's going into your modeling.
So with that being said, why would they want to skew the number of deaths due to COVID-19?
Well, fear is a great way to control people, and fear is a great way to control people, and fear is a great way to control people, and I worry about that. I worry that sometimes we're so dark.
And I'll tell you what, guys, even though I know you cannot catch COVID-19 like they're saying, so I really don't have any fear of catching it when I go out. I'm still washing my hands when I come inside. That's a person that I know that I can't really catch it. Think about the people who think it's this deadly virus that's going to kill them, and they're very, very worried about catching it. That fear can control people. It can make them do things. That's the most deadly disease that they have against us right now.
I'm interested in just jazzing up the fear factor.
So Tansy asked, do you guys think the doctors coming out lately are paid opposition or the real deal? God, I don't know. I think that this doctor, I think he's the real deal. I think he's a doctor that really sees that it's dishonest. Hospitals are actually getting money to have that death certificate say that somebody died of COVID-19. So I think that it's real doctors and real nurses. But my question is this, because I've seen being targeted in certain other events that come from a top down, that they kind of know, the elite is the best word I can think of right now. Basically the would-be masters, they know how people react and they would have seen this coming. So is there a way that they're going to use this against those doctors and nurses, against people that would want to speak out in the future, against people putting out that information? Is it a catch-22? But I do think that doctor, right now, he's not controlled opposition. This is just what I think, that he's not controlled opposition. He's really trying to tell the truth because he has a problem with it. But my concern is, wouldn't the top-down structure, the agencies involved in doing this, understand that there are nurses and doctors of conscience that would come out and speak out against this? Would they have a plan for that? So that's what I'm looking at, all these things that are good that are happening. I'm like, that's good. We got to do that. We got to get the information out. Looks like a lot of people are waking up. Looks like a lot of people aren't buying into the BS. But did they plan for? Are they going to try and then use that against us, right? So we've really got to start thinking about and this is going to be a trust in God, a faith in God, to do the right actions, to tell the truth. And even if the evil agencies and the evil top of the pyramid try and use it against the population or whatever, to hope that God has to know that God has a better plan, But yeah, that's a really good question. Mm. Strong-minded individual says, LOL, Alan, I used to get that too. I had the Bud Light flu, the tequila flu, the Hennessy flu as well. Lately I've had the Canadian LTD flu, the Canadian bug. So I've been having that a couple of nights. And Wayne Morris, yeah, Wayne Morris says nurses laughing. So you have like the nurses dancing and the nurses laughing and everything like that. If it was a true war zone and this was really serious, would you have that kind of behavior? You know, and then there was some documented footage of a New York street, and it showed all these nurses and the population behind like a behind behind a line, right? And they were all like looking at their phones, looking like they were getting ready for the cameras. So you have tons, I don't know if I can say the term right, but CAs, you have tons of, tons of crisis actors, surveillance role players. And how were they building these people up? How were they building these armies of crisis actors through previous FFs and also gang stalking? They have all these people signed up with DHS fusion centers to do street theater to targeted individuals and stuff. So what has been happening to us over years and years is crucial into understanding how this infrastructure of crisis actors, infrastructure of frequency, the frequency weapons grid, and now the 5G grid, how they know what's going to happen with that, how they know if they turn on the 5G to a certain level in a certain place, how it's going to affect exosomes being released from people's cells. So I mean, like it's really on the nose. I look at this and I'm like, wow, that's so on the nose with what we've been experiencing, and now it's all coming into play in this huge crisis that's like trying to bring in the New World Order. I mean, I think the New World Order had been brought in a lot of ways anyway, but this is a huge jump, right? And we have a crucial key. If you're a targeted individual, you know, this is the time definitely for us to speak out, not about just us being tortured by this stuff and experimented on, but, you know, about the dangers of 5G and the frequency weapons grid. So, you know, I don't know. I just know that God has a plan. He sees beyond what the top of the pyramid sees. And I think that if we just serve the true light, right? We listen to what God's trying to tell us. We worship God. We take actions, then it can lead to some miraculous stuff. You know, we got to try and get those people that are like, well, it's too big. If you can't beat them, join them. We got to shake them out of that delusion. Got to shake them out of that cognitive dissonance, because working for this system will destroy you and destroy your family. It will destroy everything. And even those people at the top of the pyramid, they've already been destroyed. They're already empty and soulless, and they'll never get anything that they want. You know?
The only answer to the current health and economic disaster is to effectively suspend capitalism. Stop pretending like we're still living in free market Wall Street rules America.
Oh, listen to this, guys. This is insane right here. But Kim asked, "What Canadian flu?" I was joking, Kim. I drank some Canadian LTD last night. It's a whiskey. Strong-minded individual was just making a joke. So no Canadian flu. It was just a joke about drinking Canadian whiskey. So listen to this, guys. Pay attention to this. This is insanity. This is insanity.
Capitalism. Stop pretending like we're still living in free market Wall Street rules America. We're not. And the best way to deal with this is to explicitly suspend those rules of capitalism and all the BS mythology that comes with it. Suspend all debt collection, foreclosures, evictions, credit report hits, all of it. The fairy tale about how we can pay it back if only we're good little boys and girls, that has been completely demolished. The healthcare system and other critical industries should be nationalized. We can't wait around hoping the free market will get its act together on gowns and masks and ventilators and other absolutely essential supplies. Hospitals are going to go bankrupt if the government doesn't effectively take them over. It's not even temporary socialism we need, but basically temporary communism. Citizens supported by the government. Major sections of the economy planned by the government.
What are we watching here?
Because 30% unemployment isn't something you bootstrap and free market your way through. something that our nation can only survive without mass chaos and unrest by truly embracing collectivism from the bottom to the top.
You know, I have good news for you, Margaret, because there is a solution using available technology today to fix the economic part of this problem. The solution is universal testing. What you want is every single person to get tested every day, and then they would wear a badge like they would after they voted or something like that to show.
And said something really important. This is crazy too, wearing a badge that says you've been tested, you know, kind of like the Jews in Germany. And says free thinkers are targets. The rest either under some mass mind control and or NLP. Backdoors in all computers and TV programming. Yeah, that's just completely right. And I think it maybe even goes beyond targets being free thinkers. I'll say it in my nerd terms. I think the targeted individuals are Jedi. Like, I think that, we're people who God has directly touched and we're outspoken and everything. Like, so we would definitely be cutting through all the BS and telling our neighbors about the truth. I can't really talk to my neighbors. My neighbors are like hunting me. They're like hunting me with surveillance and trying to watch my movements and stuff like that. So they're not going to listen to me about anything. Neither is my family. I've been discredited to my family, and my mom's the only one. My mom's the only one who, when I say something, she's like, he knows something more, because she believes in the targeting. I got one family member right there, and I love the rest of them, but we talk on a different level. The rest of my family is like, oh, he's cuckoo. He's mentally ill. So anything that I would say about anything else is taken as is just a conspiracy theory or whatever. Now, to say, nah. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, targets are free thinkers, but be careful, right, guys? Because I really think that targeted individuals have this extra bond to God, this extra strong connection to God, and can be powerful Jedis, but no, and it's a metaphorical nerd thing, but the greatest, most powerful Jedis can also be the most powerful Sith. So do not give into bad choices and dark feelings and everything like that. Because I think if you can be a powerful Jedi, you can even become a more powerful Sith. And I'm not talking about me, like I'm always like I'm hooked to God, I'm hooked to God and to the right. I serve that, and I will never give into the dark side. Okay, I'm still talking in nerd terms, but people that are very strong like that, if they go with a low resonance, they can do powerful evil. I think maybe I guess I don't want to talk about Hitler. I think you look at some people like that who had a lot of power to speak and can influence people, and you wonder if they took another way, right? Like, what if Hitler decided to do the right thing in his life and influence people? He could have been very powerful and doing good on this world. Or some other like really prominent leaders who did a lot of evil. What if they made a different choice? What if they went a different way?
Immediately sort out who's been affected and who hasn't been affected. That would help the healthcare sector, but it would also help the economy because we could interact with each other with a lot of confidence.
Eventually, what we'll have to have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated person, because you don't want people moving around the world where you'll have some countries that won't have it under control. Sadly,
yeah.
You want to completely
Charles, Luke, I am your father. I was telling people earlier, this is the way I feel right now. You look at my YouTube picture of Luke in The Empire Strikes Back, and that's kind of how I feel right now about my government. I have before, but it's like a huge time of like, boom, here's your new world order because of a fake virus, because it's not really happening. And I'm just like, oh my God, it's like I'm about to fall into Cloud City. And I was telling people earlier, I just hope there's a Return of the Jedi, which this is the time to awaken spiritually for those who maybe were a little bit hesitant to really connect with God, to do spectacular things. Because I think the pushback of good can be so powerful, And I don't know if we're going to get our freedoms back. I sure hope so. I'm a little bit pessimistic about the world, very pessimistic about the world, but I'm not pessimistic about us being good people, being better people, helping people, and doing what's right until we're called on home. you know.
the ability for those, people to go there and come back and move around.
They have to get the shot. The vaccinations are so important. This is really going around now. They have to get their shot.
So for anybody who's like a Q follower who says like, well, Trump's gonna save us all. He's really for us. He's just tricking the liberal Satanists. He's tricking the deep state and stuff like that. He's calling for everybody to get vaccines, and I'm sure that he knows what's in vaccines. And that when everybody in the world has a vaccine in them, there's not going to be any kind of gap. There's not going to be any kind of weakness in how they can target that person, how they can surveil them and see them, and also, use neuro weapons and stuff like that. They already have that, I think. They already have nanotechnology in everybody. Certain people are implanted, and they have a biofilm, and they have small, smart dust that bypass the blood-brain barrier. That vaccine is going to have new stuff that can make people very sick, but it can also just intensify ways to target people. And maybe, that's the push where they could more easily just kill people instantly, Oh, I hate saying this stuff because I'm like, oh man, that's inflammatory and I don't want to scare people. But we have to be prepared. I mean, targeted individuals have seen how far these people will go, torturing and experimenting on and raping people's minds 24 hours a day for decades and decades. We cannot rely on their mercy. We can rely on God's mercy. We cannot rely on these people like, well, maybe it won't be so bad. No, they'll go all the way. They'll go all the way, and it's been planned for a long time.
Important to get not just hundreds of millions, but literally billions of those vaccines, because this is a global problem. And although the U.S. has got the most cases right now, as time goes on, the developing countries where isolation is more difficult and the health system is very weak, sadly, they're most likely to experience the most pain of all as this goes global. Now, the world today has 6.8 million people. So
Tansy says, I watched some of his interview on TED Talk, and he was so happy about this. Couldn't watch all of it. Yeah, he's just like, he's airy and light about like murdering a lot of people and population control. If you want something cool, go and watch TrueStream Media's new video. And it's like they understand evil propaganda. So they use propaganda in trying to get the good truth out, right? And they do this video on Bill Gates where they keep showing it over and over, a time where like 4 men put a pie in his face, threw a pie at Bill Gates. Now, when I think about Bill Gates or he starts talking, guess what comes to my mind? Him being hit by those 4 pies. I can't ever think of Bill Gates without that picture of him getting nailed with 4 I think banana cream pies or something like that in the face. So go watch that video, and every time somebody says Bill Gates or you see Bill Gates, you will think about him getting hit by 4 pies in the face. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like they understand the evil side of propaganda, and they try and use it to save people's lives and to help them to understand and spread good. I love those guys.
That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
They have to get their shot.
There are some good things happening. The work on a vaccine, although that probably will take 18 months, that's going full speed ahead. Our foundation is funding that. We're looking at getting vaccines to everyone in the world. So in the long run, that we're looking at.
No. Wayne Moore says, is that so people pity him? No, I don't. They're not doing that. They don't like Bill Gates. I don't think anybody should like Bill Gates. But I think they did it intentionally. They put it throughout the video, and then they did it a bunch of times. And it just, when I think of him now, I think of that. See if that happens to y'all. See if you watch that TrueStream Media video about Bill Gates. See if you always think of Bill Gates, or when you hear it, you see him getting hit by those pies. I think it's a way of taking power away from him. They're good. Like TrueStream Media are good people, but they kind of take things that the top of the pyramid and some of these agencies use for evil. They take those things to try and do good, to try and save lives. you know, maybe they weren't trying to do that. Maybe they were just putting it in the video. But for me, every time I hear his name or see him, I think about those 4 pies hitting his
getting
face.
vaccines to everyone in the world. So in the long run, that we're looking at getting vaccines to everyone in the world.
We must reform our mental health laws to better identify mentally disturbed individuals who may commit acts of violence and make sure those people not voluntary confinement.
Last week, Dr. Michael Ryan, he's a leader at the World Health Organization, announced that in response to the spread of this virus, authorities may have to enter people's homes and remove family members, presumably by force.
In most parts of the world, due to lockdown, most of the
Yeah, strong-minded individuals said it. Vaccines will lower the population. That's called genocide. Yeah, genocide. And we know there was a buildup, right? Being targeted individuals, all these certain wars going on. They were genociding people all along the way in these last few decades. Many targeted individuals have died. Their bodies have given out, or they've had aneurysms, heart attacks, you know. But now the genocide has been sped up.
Transmission that's actually happening in many countries now is happening in the household at family level. In some senses, transmission has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units. Now we need to go and look in families to find those people who may be sick and remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
We need to make sure that everybody continues to let us know where those folks are. If you've observed recurring violations of the lacity.org/business violation. You know the old expression about snitches? Well, in this case, snitches get rewards. We want to thank you for
TI Nation.
Making sure we are all safe.
Your ass is grass.
Yeah, Tansy said, wow, that Trump speech felt like it was a direct hit on TI's. The one where he's saying, yeah, where he says we need to make sure that we can know who's going to do anything harmful or anything like that, and then be able to put them away. That was very, very bad for TIs. And now it's going to be, that's the thing. I mean, now the whole population or anybody who they're worried about, and they can say, oh, is this person doing too much good? Well, we can just label them mentally ill. Or now it's not even just label them mentally ill. We can label them as being a threat of having COVID-19, and we can take them off the playing field and put them into a gulag, put them in a FEMA camp or an internment camp. You know.
Do you understand?
So bad.
All right, well, I'll be looking at this stuff.
Sheltered in place. Go ahead, put me on social media. You're a little pop. Seriously? Seriously, I called the cops. I can't.
Okay.
That's funny, man. Well, it's not funny. Alan said something that was pretty poignant. Alan Stordahl said, I saw a movie where they turned 3 steel frame, concrete reinforced skyscrapers into dust with 2 aluminum jets. Unbelievable. Yeah, I saw that movie too. But you know, movies, it's so sci-fi. It's so sci-fi that, you know, that couldn't happen in real life.
Spike in calls from people reporting others for violating executive orders and guidelines on social distancing. But as 9 and 10's Bill Freilich reports, not every call is an emergency. He continues our team coronavirus coverage.
911 centers are with small groups. Take this report of a crew working on a lawn for the 2nd day in a row. It turned out to be a brother and sister working in the yard.
What does opening up look like? You know, which activities have, like schools, have such benefit be done in a way that the risk of transmission.
You need the full protection of Christ and the church. Traditional Roman Catholicism can get you all the graces of God. Just as long, whatever religion you're in, just as long as you have a pure connection to God in the name of Jesus Christ, that can protect you. It also, you know, believing in Jesus Christ and calling on the name of Jesus Christ actually has a very concrete material way of protecting you in ritual type circumstances. So when these people who are higher up are trying to do their rituals and sacrifices and stuff like that, a lot of people on the earth, covering yourself in the blood of Christ and thinking of him in a certain way can protect you. So it's super, super important. And stress a connection with God, just stress that, and really, really trying to commune with that benevolent force, with God at the top, and his agents, his angels, and it can tell you what to do. It can speak straight to your heart. It's so, so important. Y'all know I say it all the time. It's just super important. I want to say it over and over again. No fear, commune with God, no matter what happens. We're good people. We help people. We do what's right. And those things miraculously can turn into things that we didn't even imagine.
Low,
It's
and
fact.
which activities like mass gatherings may be, in a certain sense, more optional. And so until you're widely vaccinated, those may not come back at all.
Nice weather and some good
So he's
surf. Many
saying-
people left their house today.
He's saying mass gatherings may not even come back at all. Like people can maybe go to work and go to school, but people having mass gatherings, which AKA protests or town halls where they're saying, what do we do about this tyranny, this draconian rule? Maybe those don't come back. So, I mean, that's a definite concrete evidence of some of the angles that they're trying to do, not letting people get together to plan things, to plan civil disobedience against this horrible new world order that's here.
Day to go to the beach. Here's what Sandy Beach Park looked like earlier this afternoon. The beach parks across the state remain closed, and while you can conduct ocean activities in the ocean and work out on a beach if you'd like, things like sunbathing can get you in trouble. As Nikki Schenfeld finds out, some police officers are giving
Yeah,
out
Sleeping
warnings.
Beauty, I'll play it.
Some people are still confused about what is and what is not allowed at the beach. People are still coming out to enjoy it, and those that are having to pay a hefty price. More and more people are now getting cited for hanging out at the beach. On Maui, officers issuing citations to people laying out at Napili Bay. MPD also sharing this photo of officers getting ready to let beachgoers know they have to go.
So check
Police
this out.
statewide said they spent the last week warning, setting up a towel, chair.
Look, not permitted. Like you can be running or going to the water to surf or anything like that. Not permitted. Sunbathing, setting up a towel, chair, or umbrella, reading a book, or just sitting on the beach.
Or umbrella, reading a book, or sitting on the beach. But this was Lanikai today, and some residents say they are fed up.
It's being ignored over here. All of us are staying, the most we do is walk or swim or canoe paddle or fish, and they're not doing the 6 feet separation. I think they're being very selfish, and they're put.
Let me look that up. Let me go to True Stream Media's channel. And they're definitely a channel where it's like, they would like me to put out their information. I want to show y'all how they did it though. See if I can get, okay. Okay, computer's freezing up. Please stand by. Yeah, Homeless King James says reading a book. LOL. Yeah, reading is going to be the next thing to be outlawed. Oh, my attackers are hitting me so hard. Yeah, I'll show you, and they show it all throughout the video at different times, and then they show it like 3 times in a row. Alan says, God knew of us. God knew of us, targeted individuals before he even created the earth. We're chosen to win. Yeah, and you got to remember, like, to God, things are timeless. Like, he sees everything, and time has no meaning to him. So he knew what you'd be facing, and his angels can, like, kind of give you the instinct, the spiritual instinct to know what to do, because they know what's coming. you know. Let's play this. And I was afraid this was going to happen when I was doing my live stream. My attackers, like, they'll kind of freeze things up for like a couple of hours or 2 hours, but then they get tired of me doing the live stream because it takes my focus off of them, and then they start hacking it even worse. Like, I was just doing a video off a live stream last night, and the whole end, they just froze up my video software. The dude on my V2K is like, we got to, but he's talking to the woman on the Hive Mind team. And then the woman goes, I can't do this anymore. Can't do this anymore. Oh, I don't feel good. Felt a lot better the other night. Like, I felt like that was an awesome live stream. We're still going to make this live stream really good. They're making me really nauseous right now. Tansy says, Kyle, have you seen the new YouTube guidelines because of David Icke? No, I've got to go look at the guidelines for the words we can and can't say, and then I need to look at those. I didn't hear about that. I did, though, Tansy. My live stream got taken down because I showed the David Icke interview from London Real. Like, London Real copyrighted it, and I think they took it down on their, or somebody took it down off of their page too. I know that group, that British group, I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically like it's the group that decides the rules for like BBC and all the English broadcasting and everything. They said that interview with David Icke and London Real was like super dangerous, almost like in terrorist territory, you know, so they're labeling it like very concerning, which obviously, I mean, because he's telling the truth. Let's see if I can get to this. I should turn off my computer and ran my virus software program before I did this. Yeah, no, I think I saw Brian going through that. I think I saw High Impact Vlogs going through those. Basically, everything that I talk about in relation to the C virus, you can't say. They will take it down, and I guarantee you guys, they're going to take down some older videos. Gosh, we've got to just get the information out, and you wonder why, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious. The things that you can't talk about, if there was no validity to them, if there were no validity to the claim, would they be doing that? They try and silence the truth because the truth is dangerous. Things that we really, really need to be looking into are super dangerous. Let's play a little bit of this. It's really good. So you got, let me pull it up on my screen. You guys know True Stream Media. I think they're doing the best they can do, you know, getting some crucial things that can kind of tie everything together. But they like to make some good edited videos, so they're not making something every day. You know, I'm not going to tell them how to run their channel because they're getting so many views and so many people the truth, but I think they should maybe, you know, not so much worry about editing it into the most perfect video, but people really like them. They just like listening to, is it Melissa? Yeah, Melissa and Aaron. They should do some things that they don't have to edit so much and just do more. I think people would enjoy that. They probably are, you know. Let's see if it shows it right up front. Yeah, Charles says, I'm sure a lot of stuff has been removed. Yeah, Wayne's dance around the big picture. I thought about that, and it's a strategic thing. You know, like I see High Impact Vlogs, Dana Ashley, Richie from Boston, True Stream Media. They say things in a certain way. They're taking their path to get more information out, and then some of us have to just barrel right into it. But I think we need that. I think we need people who are following those guidelines of getting a lot of truths out, getting people to understand the topic, And then we can, the people who are like a little bit smaller and we won't get big, like my channel won't ever get big because of the topics I talk about, right? But theirs was able to get big, you see. So if they would have came out and just tackled it head on, people are being experimented on and tortured by a frequency weapons grid. They're called targeted individuals. This has been going on for a long time. YouTube would have held them down, would have shadow banned them to where they wouldn't have even had a chance to get, they may have gotten a couple of thousand views on each video, but they would have never gotten as big as they did. So it's hard to know exactly what the right thing to do is in this climate of censorship, but they made a decision and they're going down a certain pathway. We need those people to do that. And we need people like me and you and Jeff O and Ella and Ramola D and stuff like that. We need both. We need both of those people so that people can get the information, so more people can be pulled into the truth. I did see it where Ramola interviewed a nurse that where she was talking about labeling patients who didn't die of COVID-19 with as dying of COVID-19. And Richie from Boston played a little bit of it, and he didn't put her channel in there. And I was like, and I know Richie's got a lot of stuff to do, but I was like, man, if Richie would have put her channel in there, he gets so many views and he has so many subscribers. I think Ramola D's channel could have gone boom, could have just rocketed up. She could have gotten like maybe 10,000 to 20,000 new subscribers. So that's a very important thing. When you're using other people's information, give their channel credit. I also saw Never Lose Truth. Never Lose Truth did give credit to Ramola, and I think it's probably going to give Ramola some more subscribers and views. And I'm not trying, because I don't know what Richie's going through. He puts out good information, but it's just crucial to give, if you've got a huge channel and you use somebody else's information that has, is a smaller channel, to give them credit, because it can boost their channel up and get those truths out so much further. It's just important that we all give the information, give the people putting out the information the credit.
That's now infected every part of American life. City buildings,
I love Richie though, man.
Cafes,
I like Richie. I think he's a truth teller. He's working really hard.
Social distancing has become the new normal.
Yeah, Tommy says everyone, Kyle, gets the word out.
We've obviously shut down about half the U.S. economy.
6.6 million plus people laid off in a single week.
10 million Americans filing for jobless claims in March.
Anxiety, there's depression.
Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, a federal economist, estimated that 47 million Americans could lose their jobs.
Coronavirus and this pandemic has ushered a series of behavioral changes, and most of them are likely to outlive the pandemic.
But it really is. I mean, I see Arachno Nixon, you're saying they haven't banned the words yet, but they really have. Because like maybe my video, okay, so say that I said FIVEG and I connected it to the C, like I just said it, maybe my video wouldn't be pulled down, right? But it's definitely going to be seen in the algorithms, and they're going to, try and keep people from seeing it. So it's this shadow banning, the shadow censorship that we really need to be concerned about right now. But I think that's going to get even more, in our face. I'm not sure if they just take the video down at all. Tansy says the bots do already have banned words. Some aren't even bad. I wouldn't be surprised if they had more to the algorithm though. Kyle understood what I was saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's impossible for me, because like I already have a lot of trouble organizing. I have so much I want to say, and then my attackers are trying to like erase my thoughts that are on deck, and then I have to like be careful about what words I say, and it's just impossible. That's why I got demonetized. I don't see how these people do it. Like Dana Ashley's very good at it. High Impact Vlogs is super good at it. These guys, True Stream Media, are very good at it. So I've got to like really look at their videos and see how they do it. They get the information out, but they don't say the certain words. And I'm going to make an effort. I'm probably not going to be successful. I just think we just need to get information out, because censorship's going to get a whole lot worse, and things are going to look entirely different within the upcoming weeks. That's what I'm seeing. Now, hopefully we pray and we stay in hope, assertive hope, We don't just become paralyzed and say, well, nothing bad's going to happen. But we try and stay as optimistic as possible and act while we're doing it, you know.
Of the safer at home order, please continue to let us know. You know the old expression about snitches. Well, in this case, snitches get rewards. We want to thank you for turning folks in and making sure
Stuff locked into place where people are renting out their neighbors, control their lives. And now that's like the golden ticket for these evil, tyrannical people. It's the golden ticket for society where they want people divided and they want kids ratting on their parents. That's it. It's something we all have inside of us, like COVID-19 genetic material, to just say, yeah, suspect somebody being sick. It is going to be able to start being taken away, like from their families. This is brutal. It's way worse than 1984. It's way worse than A Brave New World. It's way worse than any of those dystopian books or movies that we've seen. It's happening in a much more evil, in-your-face way, you know.
And police officers are patrolling in the streets and randomly checking on who is outside and why. A lot of people are kind of almost looking at China with envy.
So Rachno Nixon said, yeah, Vulcan Wolverine, you're right. They are hurting content creators for it. Was just saying they haven't banned it in chat. Yeah. It's like they'll get this, and this is what they do on everything, right? They censor on a certain level, right? We're going to stop people from being able to say that. We'll demonetize. Well, at first it was like, well, we just won't share their video. We're not going to demonetize it, but we're just not going to share their videos. Then it's like, we're going to demonetize anybody who says those words. Then it's like, oh, we're going to take those videos down. Then it's going to be like, we're just going to delete those channels. Then it's going to be like, if you ever say those words, yeah, deleting your channel. I guess deleting your channel is the worst kind of censorship you could get. So, you know, we see those different layers of the frog in boiling water. And I would say on a large scale right now, the frog in boiling water, we're cooking. We're cooking, but a lot of people have gotten so used to it boiling up so much, and they just turn it up a whole bunch. And there are some frogs that are scalding, their skin's falling off, and they're like, well, it wasn't that bad before. You know, so we're all frogs now who are skins peeling off because the water's so hot, because they turned it way up. They were cooking us a little bit, and then they just turned it way, way up. Let me get to the part where they actually throw the pies.
Authoritarianism kind of works because they were able to just shut things down, and now the virus is contained in China.
You're all experiencing this. This is what's unfolding.
People are praising China.
Well, I think everyone's lives are almost completely upended. You know, the normal things I do, you know, talking about polio eradication, going into meetings at the foundation, traveling to meet with scientists, that's all gone. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I think, was this a nightmare? Or are we really in this almost different world where coronavirus is the top of the virus work? Yes, that's, you know, our foundation works on infectious diseases. We're the biggest funder of vaccine work. We understand, you know, how to make vaccines in volume.
As you may have heard, billionaire philanthropist Gates, who was hit in the face with a pie once back in 1998, quietly stepped down from his position on the board of directors at Microsoft and Berkshire Hathaway late Friday.
So the way that they did it, the way that TrueStream Media did it, is they, in the beginning, like the first 3 minutes of the video, they said who was hit by a pie in the face back in 1988, and then in the video they keep showing it more and more, to where at the end they show this long clip of it over and over again. So take that little clip at the beginning, and then by the end, and they work on this throughout the video. I know they did it on purpose, because I know editing and stuff like that. I know they did this on purpose. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, let's wait. Let's start it here, where Bill Gates is flipping us all off. and then you'll see at the end how they do it. And I know.
TV cooking game show.
Which is great.
Enormous respect for Bill Gates, the work he's done on this site. The awareness of the global pandemic in 2015, and which
You know, this is certainly a case where being able to say "I told you so" is not at all gratifying.
Rapid vaccine trials being Gates' third piece of advice.
And getting a vaccine. And getting a vaccine.
And getting a vaccine.
Because if there's a problem that can be solved with a vaccine,
It is fair to say things won't go back to truly normal until we have a vaccine that we've gotten out to basically the entire world.
Bill Gates and his billions will be right there. The exact same way 3 guys with pies were right there too, when Gates thought he was just going to walk right into that meeting in Brussels back in 1998. Back to you, Dan.
Host security guards in Belgium were caught flat-footed today by a cowardly sneak attack on one of the world's wealthiest men. The target was Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates, arriving for a meeting with community leaders. Watch what happens when it. Gates was momentarily and understandably shaken, but he was not injured. The hit squad piled on with 2 more pies before one of them was wrestled to the ground and the rest of the others released the moment got away. Gates went inside, wiped his face clean, and made no comment. He then went ahead with his scheduled meeting. No word on the motive for this attack.
So we'll go to this part. See, they kept playing it. So we'll go to this like 19-minute mark.
Travel freely and go back to work. And speaking of travel restrictions, Bill Gates should know a lot about them, considering his travel was heavily restricted when he tried to enter a bill significantly by a pie being slammed directly into his face, with 2 more pies thrown at him before he could even make it to the front door.
And speaking of coercive
And
software,
they keep doing it. And they have another. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So this is, let's show this guy talking. I forgot his name, but he did I'm Mad as Hell.
Cash.
What's his name?
Anytime you have money in your check, whenever they want to, they say you owe us this much money in taxes. They just deduct it out of your check digitally. And if you're like me or you,
Charles said he barely escaped with his life.
Food. Can't do anything. It's total control.
And so that guy, I forgot his name. It's Aaron something. He was saying that he was a good friend of a Rockefeller, and the Rockefeller was telling him, you know, they're going to make it so where they do away with paper money, and you got a chip, and that chip can be deactivated. I mean, is that where if we're heading towards a digital currency, and then you got ID 2020 coming up? Is ID 2020 going to be that implant that he talks about where it's like they can just turn it off? Like if you have a low enough social credit score, or they want to label you as a criminal, so you can't get food to get food. But with a digital currency, if it's like a chip or anything like that, they can just shut that down. You know, so that's a very scary proposition. It looks like we're very close to that.
No quickie line this time. Let's just watch this clip.
And speaking of denial, Gates also later denied the quote, "The pie wasn't even that good."
You see how they did it?
1998 Daily News article detailing the very moment his
And they
face
just
was
keep
slapped
showing
with
it
the pie,
over and over.
in what the article's author referred to as, quote, "an unexpected taste of Belgium," which Gates received in the same week he was also slapped with 11 state subpoenas. It is unclear how the pie couldn't be very good. Consider episode. Gates' second piece of advice is expanded federal tax.
So notice that, I mean, and it's completely purposeful. These guys at TrueStream Media, they've studied like Edward Bernays, and you know, Netflix is owned by the grandson propaganda. They put in specific movies that they want to do predictive programming with. But since TrueStream Media, since the guys at TrueStream Media have been studying this stuff for so long, they understand how the evil side of it works. So that is definitely purposeful, and they're good guys. Melinda and Aaron are definitely good guys. I think they're even targeted, but they're going to try and use some of the. I use some saying things over and over, right? I'm a good guy. I'm targeted, but I want everybody to be empowered. You say certain things over and over, like I talk about my faith and stuff like that. I talk about the frequency weapons grid over and over again. And so you can't just say it once because people may be able to forget it. You need to get it in their heads. That's what these evil agencies in the top of the pyramid have been doing for so long, to get de-empowering or disempowering, or however you'd say that, to take away power from the public. So we need to start using some of these tools for good, right? And we have for a long time, but they do it very well. They do it very well. I can't think of him without seeing him getting hit in the face. Yeah, I think Arachno Nixon, I think you're right. Arachno Nixon says Bill Gates is like a nerd who doesn't get invited to a party in high school and conspires to poison their beer keg in retaliation. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about, like, Bill Gates wants to depopulate, and he was probably mistreated as a teenager and as a child. And so he hates people. And he's like, they're viruses, they're scum, and we've got to take off the earth. So he's very happy to do all this. It's like an evil vindication for him. Lee Jennifer says, I will gladly take a pie in the face. Chocolate cream with graham cracker crumb crust. That sounds so good. Let's see what else I want to show you guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up soon. Maybe not. My hackers I'm having trouble breathing, and they're making me real nauseous. I had some things I want to show. I showed this on my last live stream. I may just mirror this. From Jeff's channel, but it's really important. Let's watch it. This is really important. It's about the waves. So notice when you're watching media now, when you're looking at the newspaper or watching mainstream media or seeing movies, they're going to be talking about waves. And even Brian at High Impact Vlogs mentioned, he was like, and it kind of, when they're talking about waves, it makes me think of 5G, which, whenever anything subliminal or subconscious is being done by these agencies. And what's happening to my computer? It might not just be metaphor. It might not just be a metaphor about one thing. It might be a metaphor that's acting at a couple of different levels. Let's see if I can pull this up. Oh, there's a Dana Ashley video I want to play too. Wait. Let's play this again. This is really, really important. It's pretty short, especially the car commercial at the end. I know a lot of you guys probably already saw this on my last live stream, but it's super important. And please, please subscribe to Jeff Censored. Super smart guy. He's fighting. I can tell he's worried that we're not going to get back our freedoms. He's worried that the New World Order is set in, but he's still fighting. I think a lot of people are trying to get him to get in touch with his faith and get in touch with God, because I think that's the only way to survive what is being put in place now, and to see the hope, right? As long as there's one good person on this earth fighting for freedom, we have a bunch now. There's hope. There's hope to turn things around, even in an evil system that maybe we can't completely fix.
Michelle Bennett lost her 75-year-old mother, Carol Ann, last week to coronavirus. And while she was unable to be in the room with her when her mother passed away, nurses at the hospital made sure Michelle and her siblings were able to say a proper goodbye on FaceTime. And Michelle Bennett joins me now. And Michelle, I do not have all of the words in the world to say I'm sorry, just that I'm sorry for the loss of your mother.
So Veronica Smith says Bill Gates is a Rockefeller on his mother's side. Greta Thunberg is the granddaughter of George Soros. These hybrids are all related through the same demonic bloodlines. Yeah, and I saw a picture of Greta Thunberg with some kind of bottle cap or something in front of her right eye. She had it in front of her right eye, so she's definitely within these families. Yeah, that's super important. Yeah, Kyle Reese says Kyle Reese fought Skynet when it seemed hopeless. I might edit that and put it out. The part where John Connor saying, if we stay the course, we are dead, you know. And I've always thought about that as a targeted individual, those Terminator movies where it's like, but I see it as like we're all John Connor, right? We're all Kyle Reese, like all targeted individuals, all people who know the truth. We're all Jarrell. We're all those people trying to tell people. So it's like all of us are very special in the eyes of God. And we can light it up in somebody else who's maybe asleep or still trusting the government. We can light them up to be a true warrior for good. You know, so that's I think that's crucial. Crucial is that we must infect those that are good, that maybe are just asleep or they're misguided, so that we can build this army of people. And then, you know, and I think we're gonna take further action other than just putting information out on the internet, but to build the number of people.
I know that grief comes in waves. Body still to some degree, sort of like you said, the waves of emotion crashing over, you know, each body still to some degree. Sort of like you said, the waves of emotion crashing over, you know, each body still to some degree. Sort of like you said, the waves of emotion crashing over, you know, each.
Yeah, Homeless King James says that's ilium, right eye stuff. Yeah, I agree with that. Tansy says, Veronica Smith, we have a bunch of inbreds in charge. No wonder the world is some definite weird genetics and inbreeding up to the top through these royal bloodlines. And they're psychopaths. They're psychopaths. The people with the most money and the most power in the world are definite psychopaths. So scary. There's so many more normal, good people in the world. And they're creating this illusion like we don't have any power. And it started with a wave. It started with a giant wave, this Maserati commercial.
The world is full of giants. They have always been here, lumbering in the schoolyards, limping through the alleys. We had to learn how to deal with them, how to overcome them. We were small, but fast. Remember, we were like a wind appearing out of nowhere.
So scary.
We knew that being clever was more important than being the biggest kid in the neighborhood. As long as we keep our heads down, as long as we work hard, that's what we feel in our guts, our hearts. Then we're ready. We wait until they get sleepy. Wait until they get so big they can barely move. Then we'll walk out of the shadows, quietly walk out of the dark, and strike. We wait until they get sleepy. Wait until they get so big they can barely move. Then we will walk out of the shadows, quietly walk out of the dark, and strike.
We have prepared, now we strike. So we just got to make sure people are awake and that we're moving fast, you know. I want to show one of Richie from Boston's videos. And I'll put all this stuff in the description. Where I wanted to show, if you guys know who Alan Moore is, Alan Moore wrote Watchmen. He was a comic book writer, and he wrote Watchmen, and he wrote V for Vendetta. And I thought it was very interesting. I think I'm maybe just going to do a small video on this, but in Watchmen, he wrote the comic book where at the end, it was like an alien, a faked alien invasion that killed a lot of people and brought the world together. Now in the movie, they changed it to Dr. Manhattan's energy blowing up a bunch of buildings, right? So like kind of like 9/11 blew up some buildings to get the world together against terrorism. And V for Vendetta, the original plot line for the comic book was a nuclear war where it was like nuclear bombs hitting different places in the world, and this kind of neo-Nazi type tyrannical leadership took power. But in the movie, they changed it to the St. Mary's virus. So in the movie, it was a faked virus. It was a biological weapon that created a virus that then let them take power. So I found it very interesting, those parallels of those two comic books that Alan Moore wrote, were changed in the movies to things that you see in the world. Like if you took the Watchmen movie, which was done after 9/11, but it's kind of like a sigil, right? And if you look up Alan Moore on the internet, and you'll talk about, he's a Mason. Alan Moore's a Mason, and he believes in sigil magic. And he believes that any form of art is like using signs and numbers and things like that to cast a spell. So it's just interesting that these two of his most popular comics that he wrote, both when the movies were made, not in the actual comic, because it was different in the comic, but when the movies were made, the Watchmen movie kind of lines up with like what happened in 9/11, a bunch of buildings blowing up. And then in V for Vendetta, it was a biological weapon, the St. Mary's virus, that brought these neo-Nazi tyrannical thugs in power. So very interesting. I'll make a video just on that, kind of just show y'all those parallels, because we know in movies, comic books, TV, they're doing this predictive programming because it's part of the sigil. It's part of getting everybody psychologically prepared for what's to come. And it's also a form of, I see what it means that to get our consent, to get people's consent, and therefore the ritual is stronger and they are freed from the karma of the evil that they're committing, right? I think that's very, very ludicrous, and it's such a deception because people aren't consenting to being murdered. People aren't consenting to a fake virus. They're being tricked into thinking it's real. So, but in their delusion, in their insanity, they somehow think that it's wiping the slate of their evil karma, which it's not. That's a satanic lie. It's a satanic lie that it's wiping their karma clean at all.
What's up, YouTube? It's Richie with Lust. It is the 9th of April.
No, y'all aren't going to be able to hear this.
This was this morning, heading through the panhandle of Texas, eastbound. These are big. This is no joke. And I'm getting lots and lots of information from people, and I'm only running stuff that I can actually back up with.
You just showing these tanks in military vehicles eastbound. Taylor says, wake up. Look at Taylor says, predictive programming. Do you know why they do it? Yeah. There are a lot of different reasons to wake up. Karmic dumping, but it's also to get people psychologically ready for what's about to happen, because it makes the spell or the ritual more potent or whatever. So the things they do for predictive programming are like anything else. There's many different reasons and angles for why they do it.
martial law right now.
Yeah, Wayne Moore says more krill.
Exactly what we did in Iraq.
Need more krill. Yeah, Ray C. Ask anybody get harassed as soon as they wake up? Yes. Every day.
I don't know why more Iraq.
It's my computer, Tansy. It's like freezing up. My attackers freeze stuff up. I know y'all can't probably hear this, but I just wanted to show what he's showing. The volume's really bad.
But we were the ones throwing people in prisons and worse. I guess people are waiting for Trump to.
So he's talking about in Iraq.
I don't know what else.
We were throwing people in prisons in Iraq.
What is actually going on? The disease is totally fraudulent.
He's saying the disease is totally fraudulent.
These are everywhere, even though the military has ceased all operations because of the COVID-19 disease. Well, then why are these traveling absolutely everywhere? You see what I'm saying? Absolutely everywhere, all over the United States. You think it's just a complete fluke? Oh, it's all.
I'll tell you guys what I think about that. Why I think that all these military vehicles are coming in. I do think some of it's the National Guard, and they're going to be able to transport supplies and stuff like that. But I think they are already getting prepared for even before April 30th of people going out and protesting, looking for food, people trying to gather to try and figure out what to do against this. I think they're already getting prepared. And if you watch Gray State, or go on Netflix and watch A Gray State, which is a documentary about the making of Gray State. This guy way back, and started in 2011, he was trying to make a film about basically what is going to happen now, what is happening and what is going to happen. And so they get the military ready in all of these cities to go door to door to take people who are suspected of having COVID-19. But also they get ready for people going out to get food, people trying to protest and things that they're ready for. You know, that's my concern. It's like we need to do those things, but we gotta figure, right? It's targeted individuals and just people who know the truth. They know how humans are going to react, especially large groups of humans, how they're going to react. So we've got to be sophisticated. You know, I don't know. We've just got to get information out right now, see what's going down, and then is that we've all got to talk to each other about what we need to do now. Like, and I'm talking about not just getting information out on social media, but what we actually need to do. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. What worries me is the kind of surveillance that's already in place. Now they're gonna move things into place to do even more surveillance, but the kind of surveillance they already have in place, anybody, even if they're a group to talk about what needs to be done or to plan something, I guess I can't talk about those things, but just one person, I just want to say in general, one person in a group, if they are remote neural monitored, they got a surveillance. Let's just how many targeted, you know, so they've already got this thing locked in place, and then they've got the military to break up mass gatherings, and then they're bringing in military vehicles, and they're already prepared for this stuff. But then they've been preparing for over, you know, decades to have specific people being able to surveil people with their eyes, because they're getting signals from the occipital lobe in the visual cortex. So I mean, the kind of stuff they have in place is just super, super scary, and we're going to need miracles from God. And I think that I think the time has come to make the world as best of a place we can. I'm kind of used to this because I'm not used to what's happening now, but as a targeted individual, trying to help other targeted individuals, and a lot of you guys do too, all of you guys do, but it still keeps going on. It's still bad. You know, the program doesn't end. And so, I feel like God has been preparing me my whole life for this, for the targeting, and then the targeting was kind of to prepare me for what's here, what and worse things coming, and to not give up anyway, because I know that even though stop the targeting programs, people are still being experimented on. You other guys who are making videos or doing other forms of activism, you didn't stop the targeting programs, but how many people did you help? How much awareness did you get out there? So still good that came from those things. And God willing, whatever God's will, to me in my heart, and I know all you guys, whatever His will, but we go for our goals of trying to get our freedoms back, of trying to stop this. Okay, Tansy, thank you. I have to get stuff. Much love to y'all. Much love to you, Tansy. Thank you for coming. And just stay safe out there. Stay safe out there. We're gonna keep going. Arachno Nixon says the green is troubling to me, but gray paint is even more troubling. A lot of are you seeing a lot of gray paint, Arachno Nixon? Was it on these vehicles?
Under the impression that YouTube is suddenly quieting anybody talking about 5G. Do you know what misdirection is? Because people claiming this is 5G is what's killing all these people.
That's funny.
They're not killing all these.
Homeless King James says, guys, what if you dress up as someone quarantining a house when they go door to door and you say, this one's bad? You start pointing at your gang stalking neighbors. I think they have COVID-19. I saw him cough earlier. You don't want me. These aren't the droids you're looking for. These aren't the droids you're looking for. This is so bad, y'all. I don't even know what to do. I mean, I'm just getting information out right now, preparing myself, trying to speak to my family and let them know I love them. I think we're going to see a big direction, this Passover. We're going to see how bad it's going to get.
Channel got hit yesterday. This video got taken down, and Behold the Pale Horse by Bill Cooper. And on RFB2, I got hit with copyright.
Okay, right.
Behold the Pale Horse by Bill Cooper. That's what we would call a subliminal message. And you think it's
yeah, the military is not doing this. That's true. I mean, the military is not leading it, right? But they're being used as pawns, like Army, the national, the reserves. They're still being used. The National Guard. So they're carrying out things from a federal level. Just is receiving orders, and they're carrying out the wishes of the federal government, which is then in turn carrying out chain of command the wishes of a global government. That is, we already have a global leadership. I don't know if you call it a government, but we already have a global leadership that's puppeteering all of the governments of every country around the world, and it's targeted individuals, right? There's this huge global targeting program that then the different military industrial complexes of every nation follow, right? And then it trickles down to all these, to local law enforcement, local sheriff's department, local DHS fusion centers, right? So through these last decades, they've been setting up these DHS fusion centers. They've been setting up these federal fusion centers to carry out the wishes of the federal government and federal agencies like deep state agencies. And all of those agencies carry out the wishes of a global leadership that's planning for Agenda 21, right? There's this pyramid, a spider web inside of a pyramid that has been involved in our targeting, and now it's involved in this huge FF, which is locking down everybody in their homes and getting prepared to do even worse stuff. Alan Sordo said, I heard that we just sent 60,000 American troops over to Europe somewhere. true. I don't know, Alan. I don't know. Charles Hall says every hospital has DHS. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. Rick M says, I heard they marked our property, probably misinfo. I've heard that too, Rick, where it's like some people get a certain color, you get a something on your mailbox that says what kind of a threat you are, and like a blue one. And I'm not sure about the colors, but like a blue one would be like you're not a threat and they don't have to worry about you. Then like a yellow would be like you're a medium threat and they may need to check on you or something. And then the red is just like take you to the internment camp, you know. But I think you know, we might have something like that, Rick, where it's not your mailbox hasn't been marked, but it may be a certain you know, like this targeting, the nanotechnology, like on a surveillance scale with this more advanced technology, people have been marked and certain households have been marked, right? They've had a lot of time to set that up, you know, to where they can have a house mark through the people with the nanotechnology in their systems within the home, and they know that they're a high threat level. Then they could be planning to go to those houses in every country, right, and say, oh, there's somebody in here with COVID-19. They pick out that person to take them from their house. And notice how they're emptying prisons, right? They're letting prisoners go early because they want room in the prisons for dissidents, right? And I just say that because I really see that. I really see that they're going to be going after political dissidents. Like I was reading on that other video, PNAC, you know, was talking about biochemical warfare, things like viruses and stuff being used as a politically useful tool. Now, when you have a draconian new world order coming in, who do they want to take off the board? Who have they been taking off the board even before this huge crisis? Political dissidents, whistleblowers, people with pure hearts that want to speak, right? So in this time, in this crisis, they're going to empty out the prisons of some like really they want chaos, but they hit the people who want to give people truth and kind of make things better, and those are the biggest enemies to a tyrannical world government. I mean, this is like here, guys. Because I mean, like think about it. You're sitting here right now, and I was some beer, and then they're gonna bring. I had this so that the of Satanists, so you know, just do what they go and wait. So that's paralyzing. What just happened? That's paralyzing patriotism. Still hear me, right? It's just every on a different stream. Streaming, it still shows that I'm streaming, guys. Y'all tell me in chat. Am I still here? Am I still here? Can y'all see me? Can you hear what I'm saying right now, guys? Can y'all hear me? You can't? Can't hear me? Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so that was my attackers just freezing up Zoom. I don't know why, but let me finish what I was saying. So, like, if I was a Q patriot saying just wait, it would paralyze you, right? You'd feel a lot less stressed, but you're believing a lie, right? So what we need to do is people who know that things are getting bad, I mean, it's going to be some stress, but we need to say, we need to let each other know, do not fear. Let's get close to God. But we've got to be aware of some of these things happening, because if we can maybe put the right information out, do certain civil disobedience things, and not let it get locked in as much as it would get locked in, that's way better than just chilling out and de-stressing while it gets worse. If we could be doing things in those time periods to kind of push it back, to let the public know how dangerous it's going to be, kind of build our armies, That's how I'm about to throw up my attackers. Okay, thanks for coming, Homeless King James. Yeah, Arachno Nixon says Q equals hope. So I do want to say, guys, if you're watching a Q vid or something like that, please just put in their comments. Please, patriots, wake up. Please wake up and fight. We need to do that, because that can be one of the most important things. The Q Patriots are very smart. They're smart people. They and they want all these things coming out, and now and everything going out, but they think that it's this clever and to lock everybody in their homes and then do the mass arrests. Do his live stream tomorrow. I may try and do some smaller videos. Yeah, I'm getting kind of tired, guys. So I think that's going to be about it for tonight. I love y'all. Tanya says bye, James. Thank you for coming, Sleeping Beauty. And just stay safe, Try and take some cleansing baths, guys. If your targeting's really bad, don't get stressed out. Let's just try and see what's coming down the pike. Let's just try and see what's happening. And right now, utilize social media, utilize these information tools. They're going to use it against us. Like, I'm of the mindset that anything good that we do, it's in some respects, they're going to be collecting data, right? Like, so let's even just take this live stream. I'm a real targeted individual. I'm a sincere, honest targeted individual trying to talk about some of these things. They're still going to be able to collect data on how many people came to my live stream, what people are kind of believing, right? This person, he's a targeted individual too, but they want to collect that data of who believes what and what information is spreading. They're trying to collect that before they shut it all down. And I don't know when they're going to shut it all down. Thanks for coming, Alan. Alan says, peace, I'm out too. Thanks for hosting, brother. Yeah, thank you, everybody. I love y'all. Wayne Moore says, hang tough, guys. Yeah, just hang tough. Hang tough. Let's not give in to fear, and let's just be prepared, and let's trust in God. Drunken Ninja. I have 500 billion. Wish we had 500 billion people on the earth. I really hope they're not going for the 500 million thing. Butterfly Renouncing Control says, good night to all of you brave and true TIs. Prayers to those who really need it. Prayers to those that are in trouble and that are hurt. And we're all in trouble to a certain degree. The targeted individuals are getting it way worse. Thank you for coming, Kim. Rick M says, Steve Motley's crowd don't want to hear non-Q info. Just slip it in the comments. Like, slip it in the comments in a live chat. You probably won't get good results, but you'll have a couple of people who maybe aren't even in the chat, and they'll go like, yeah, nothing's happening. I need to start looking into other information and going to videos that are actually trying to prepare for what's here and what's coming. So don't worry about what some of the louder Q people say to like try and insult you or whatever. You're still getting to some level-headed Q members that are on their way out. They're on the way out the door of that. And I see them everywhere because there are some very smart patriots. Q is a very, very intelligent. I don't know if, I think it's a psyop. But it's very well done. It almost had me. Because I'd rather believe that everything's going to be okay than believe that we've got to fight and our future is uncertain, right? That's a human thing, right? And like I said, these agencies in the top of the pyramid, They know how humans work, especially in large groups. So, anybody got anything important at the end of the live stream? Tanya says everyone needs to pray. That's the most important thing. Commune with God, commune with your angels, the agents of God, pray for others. Powerful, positive energy, powerful, positive belief that things will be okay, that things will be good. And that Richie from Boston video, I couldn't hear it. My volume's bad, but you guys, y'all already are subscribed to Richie from Boston, I'm sure. I'll definitely check out all those channels, and I'll put them in the description too. It's like when I was playing Richie from Boston's video, that's when they cut me off. I can't even, it's like they took that one off. Okay, and I'll be back with some more live streams and work on some videos and stuff. Remember, Badger Report tomorrow. It's Friday, so it'd be just Saturday at 6 p.m. Really funny guy, really smart guy. Okay, Drunken Ninja. Check out this on CV. I'll check it out, Drunken Ninja. Maybe I'll play it on my next live stream. Okay, yeah. Alan Soros says last word. Like before you go. Yeah, please thumbs up. Please thumbs up, like, and share. And then I'm going to be trying to do some shorter videos with some good information, so that hopefully a lot of the information that we've been showing all along can get to people and they can understand. They can understand how the system's already been built up. Let's see. Okay, Butterfly Renouncing Control said, and they collect data on us, including those who come to your stream just to collect. I'm well aware and discerning. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, we have to be aware of it. I mean, I know that targeted individuals, they say like, well, there's a lot of agents who set up targeted individual channels or in other truth communities, but the deal is like, I am not an agent or anything, but that doesn't even matter. It's like you can be an honest targeted individual or an honest person getting out truth. They can still get information and data from who's looking at what information and what we're doing and everything. And just hopefully they'll let us keep a lot of this stuff. We'll figure out new ways to, yeah, Drunken Ninja says 500 billion, I'll volunteer. I need like 20 wives, 20 wives. I have 20 babies a year. I don't think anybody wants me to have my babies running around. Thank you for coming, Kim. And happy Easter, everybody. I'll probably talk to you before Easter. I'm definitely going to be at Badger's live stream on Saturday. Maybe, I don't know if he's having anybody come on the panel. I know he's having Jeff on, but it may just be them two. But if he's doing a panel, I'll probably come on there. Lee Jennifer says crosses with lights is a great idea. The cross. We need to have that in our mind, the cross in Jesus Christ. Okay, so yeah, Butterfly Renouncing Control said, I have a cross with lights on it in my yard. It's a faith, not fear movement in my community. Great for Easter as well. Yeah, faith, not fear. Faith, not fear. Faith, not fear. That's great. That's great. Prepared, assertive hopefulness, faith, not fear. When we take action, we take whatever action we can without getting thrown in jail until the time when maybe we might have to get thrown in jail. But up to that point, we take careful action with faith, not fear. No fear, guys. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. All right, guys. I love y'all. Dabs. Dab it. I'm going to do a real dab. Dab. Charles Hall says there's a cross on my rifle scope. Yeah, Wayne Morse. Wayne Morse. Everybody subscribe to Wayne Morse. WAYNE and then space MORRIS. Check out Wayne's channel. I think he did a preview or a promotion for Saturday for Badger Report. So Wayne Morris, Jeff O, JEFF space O, and then in Badger Report. I'm not going to spell that whole thing. They're targeted individuals that are getting out a lot of information. All right, guys, I love y'all. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. But I'll see y'all soon. If not before Saturday, then Saturday at 6. Just keep going strong. Faith, not fear. I love you guys.